Chapter 28-24. There were only 3 people who did not want to be Longao's enemy. They were the massacre sovereign Luomu, the lightning sovereign Luomu, and the indestructible tyrant body Xiantong. It was still the same. The 3 of them could only pretend to deal with Longao due to the deterrence of the divine mathematician and Emperor Yun. They were helpless. As for Longao's former friends, Long Ming and Ji Mei, they strongly advocated for Longao's destruction. That was the difference. Longao knew better than anyone whether the 10 astral sovereigns were friends or foes. That was exactly the case. Emperor Yun and the others had already chosen to leave. After all, there was no way to deal with Longao in a short period of time. They each thought of a way. No matter who thought of a way, they would inform the others to deal with Longao together. Sky Martial Plain. With the protection of the Primal Chaos Palace, Longao did not have to worry about anyone entering. There was no one in the Sky Martial Plain other than him. Back then, the divine mathematician had destroyed everyone in the Sky Martial continent to deal with him. He was furious. After this matter was resolved, he was prepared to open up the Sky Martial continent. Other than his family, he would continue to take in cultivators. Brother Long, we are really happy to see that you are not dead. Xiantong, Ruomu, and Luomu had all entered the Sky Martial continent. The 3 of them knew very well that if not for Longao opening the Primal Chaos Palace, they would not have been able to enter. They were shocked. They had never seen a Primal Chaos divine artifact. If not for this matter, they would not have even heard of it. It was worthy of being a supreme existence above the cosmos divine artifacts. The Primal Chaos divine artifact was too powerful. Not to mention them, even Emperor Yun could not break it. Before Longao could speak, Xiantong sighed deeply and said guiltily, "Brother Long, the 3 of us had no choice. If we did not come, we would not have been able to resist if they joined forces." Luomu also said helplessly, "If it was just the 7 of them, we would not be afraid. Only Emperor Yun and Yunlu." At this point, Luomu did not continue, but the meaning of his words was clear. If it was not a last resort, the 3 of them would not have done this. It was simply embarrassing. Of course, Longao did not have the slightest bit of enmity towards the 3 of them. If he saw the 3 of them as enemies, he wouldn't have done this. In Jianghu, you can't help yourself. Longao smiled and continued, "I know Emperor Yun's strength better than you do. Plus, you didn't attack me before. I still treat you as my friends." Us too. The 3 of them were not afraid of Longao. First, the way the 3 of them saw it. Given Longao's talent, it was certain that he would one day refine the Chaos Tablet and become a ruler of space. He was even more terrifying than Cloud Emperor. Secondly, they did see Longao as a friend. It was just that other than Cloud Emperor and the others, there was nothing they could do. Chaos Realm. Longao did not hide anything from the 3 of them. He told them about the Primal Chaos Realm and the Primal Chaos Passageway. The more he listened, the more shocked he became. He sighed deeply. After the 3 of them learned about the Primal Chaos Realm and the Primal Chaos Passageway, their faces turned serious because they were not fools. In fact, the 3 of them had already guessed that Cloud Emperor's family was not simple. But they did not expect the Yun family to come from the Primal Chaos Realm and be able to stay in the vast universe. Cloud Emperor could be said to be the most powerful person in the vast universe. They just could not figure out how the Yun family did it. Cloud Emperor was not forcibly taken into the Primal Chaos Realm. "Brother Long, what do you mean by this?" Intuition told them that Longao's visit this time was not that simple. "In that case, I'll be frank." He smiled. Longao did not feel embarrassed at all. After all, he could not defeat the Oracle and Cloud Emperor alone. As for the people of his family and the team he secretly formed, none of them could refine the Primal Chaos Tablet. As for the Mystic Realm, he chose to ignore it. In front of a ruler of space, a half-step ruler of space was at most a joke, a big joke. With my strength alone, I'm no match for them. The 3 of them did not speak. Thousands of years ago, I obtained 9 primal chaos tablets and distributed them to 9 people. And my family, let me calculate, there should be more than 20 people who devoured the tablets. If they can refine them in the future. At this point, Longao did not continue. He knew that as long as the 3 of them were not fools, they would understand. As expected, after listening to Longao's words, the 3 of them were stunned. More than 30 rulers of space. If that was the case, in the future, Longao would be the only one in the vast universe. If more rulers of space who could control the primal chaos realm appeared in the soaring dragon empire, then even the Yun family would be no match for them. Brother Long, if you have something to say, just say it. The 3 of them knew very well that Longao had told them so many secrets. It was definitely not that simple. I believe that the 3 of you have already guessed. Although I have obtained many primal chaos tablets, it takes too long to refine them. If this continues, I don't know how long I will have to wait. And in the current situation, time is of the essence for me. The 3 of them understood the meaning behind his words. Because of this, their expressions became more and more serious. I am alone now. If the 3 of you are willing to help, then I welcome it. In the future, I, Longao, will definitely return today's favor. As expected, what they feared would happen. In fact, the 3 of them had no intention of getting involved in this battle. Whether it was Longao or Emperor Yun, they did not want to provoke either side. However, things had already come to this. They did not want to agree, but they did not want to refuse. They could neither advance nor retreat. They were in a dilemma. How could Longao not know about their concerns? He did not force them. If the 3 of them were not willing, he would still treat them as friends. After all, he had to face the clairvoyant and the powerful Yun family. Brother Long, you know the strength of the Yun family. If we agree, I'm afraid, Sai, Emperor Yun's strength is obvious. He also has a primal chaos divine tool. The most helpless thing is that the Yun family is from the primal chaos realm. The 3 of them were very clear. They were not willing to agree. Longao had already guessed this result. He was not surprised. After all, no matter who it was, they would choose to do this. No one would complain about living too long. Since the 3 of you are not willing, then I will not force you. I hope that the 3 of you will not appear in the future. Otherwise, you will be implicated. I cannot guarantee that. Although Longao treated the 3 of them as friends, if the 3 of them appeared again and again, even if they were friends, sometimes it was not up to him. Chapter 28-25. The 3 of them were indeed feeling guilty. Xian Tong suddenly stood up and said firmly, Brother Long, I, Xian Tong, have let you down. From now on, I, Xian Tong, will be your friend and brother. We will live and die together. Ah! What did Xian Tong mean? Hearing Xian Tong's words, both Luo Mu and Ruo Mu looked at Xian Tong in shock. They knew Xian Tong too well. What was wrong with Xian Tong? Why did he agree to Longao's request? They knew better than anyone else what it meant to agree. It was still the same sentence. If it was really the 7 of them, they wouldn't be afraid even if they couldn't win. After all, it wouldn't be easy for the 7 of them to kill them. But now, the situation was completely different. Emperor Yun and Yun Lu were powerful and the Yun family had a chaotic divine weapon. The 2 of them knew that if Emperor Yun and the others were determined to kill them, it would be troublesome. For Longao, at that time, even his life would be lost. Was it worth it? Definitely not. Not to mention them, no matter who it was, they would have made the same choice. Brother? The 2 of them didn't think much of it. They wanted to ask Xian Tong what was going on, but they held themselves back. If Xian Tong wanted to die, they couldn't stop him. Longao was even more surprised. Although he invited the 3 of them to deal with Emperor Yun and the marvelous mathematician, he knew very well that the 3 of them wouldn't dare to form an alliance with him even if he beat them to death. It was completely suicidal. But what was the result? Thank you. He didn't say anything else because Xian Tong had already made his stance clear. He didn't want to say anything else. Brother Long, Brother Xian Tong, since that's the case, the 2 of us will take our leave first. As for what we said earlier, The two of us can guarantee that from now on, no matter what happens, we will not interfere. His purpose this time was to make the three of them retreat. If the three of them continued to attack, even if they didn't really attack him, Longao wouldn't be polite. It was good to have one less enemy. Take care, we won't see you out. They were neither friends nor enemies. Luo Mu and Weak Tree's intentions were very clear. They wanted to remain neutral. Longao didn't force them because it was already very good that the two of them could do this. Even his good brothers, Yi Ji Mei and Long Ming, couldn't do this. Xian Tong, I want to ask you, why did you make such a choice? Longao was really curious. After all, with the threat of the clairvoyant, the Cloud Emperor, and the others, if Xian Tong chose to ally with him, he would be doomed eternally. Xian Tong merely smiled. Brother Long, forgive me for being blunt. According to what you said before, even if I don't help you after they kill you, or one day when I master the primal chaos, I believe that I will also die. Longao didn't say anything. He just listened quietly. Even if I can't master the power of chaos, I'm afraid Emperor Yun won't let everyone in the vast starry sky go. Your analysis is very correct. Xian Tong was very smart because Longao also thought of this point. He said, although I don't know the purpose of the Yun family, according to my friend, the Yun family itself is from the Chaos Realm. Under normal circumstances, the Chaos Realm wouldn't interfere in the affairs of the vast starry sky, and there shouldn't be anyone who masters the power of chaos here. It seems that the Yun family used a secret method to force Emperor Yun to stay here. Xian Tong nodded in agreement. In fact, when Longao said this, he had already guessed that this would be the result. It was precisely because of this that after thinking about it, he decided to form an alliance with Longao. It was a glimmer of hope. If he didn't ally with Longao, he wouldn't even have a glimmer of hope. Brother Long, what are you going to do next? This was the most important thing. Xian Tong certainly wanted to master the power of chaos. If possible, he also wanted to go to the legendary Chaos Realm to have a look. Although it was full of endless danger, he seemed to have been a little too comfortable since he became the ruler of the starry sky. Too much comfort wasn't a good thing. Xian Tong, you and I are brothers now. I won't hide it from you. Just as the Oracle and the others said, I've already refined half of the Chaos Tablet. In the future, when I refine the remaining half, unless Emperor Yun personally attacks, no one will be my match. That includes the Oracle. If anyone else dared say this, Xian Tong would have slapped them across the face. Only Longao. Xian Tong hadn't imagined that in a few short years, Longao would be able to refine even half of the Chaos Tablet. He knew very well how long it had taken him to refine the Chaos Tablet. A genius. Xian Tong could almost say that in the future, Longao's achievements would be limitless. This time, following Longao, he might be able to go even further in the future. When all of us have refined the Chaos Tablet, then. At this point, Longao didn't continue, but the meaning of his words was clear. The main reason why Xian Tong stayed behind this time was because of what Longao had said before. If more than 30 people had devoured the Chaos Tablet, it meant that in the future, Longao would have more than 30 rulers of the universe under his command. Such strength was enough to dominate the entire universe. Even Emperor Yun wouldn't dare to provoke him. Luo Mu and Ruo Mu had also thought of this point. However, the two of them were very clear that even if Longao's family had devoured the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, so what? Refining the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet was not an easy task. Who knew how long it would take? 10,000 years? 100 million years? 100 million years? Or maybe they would never be able to refine it. If they couldn't wait until everyone refined the Chaos Tablet, then sorry. Everyone would follow in Longao's footsteps and be killed. If they didn't even have their lives, how could they refine the Chaos Tablet? Because of this, whether it was Luo Mu or Ruo Mu, they didn't dare to bet on Longao. No one thought that their lives were too long, especially when the other party had an expert like Emperor Yun. They didn't dare to be presumptuous. Brother Long, forgive me for being blunt, but your family members have already devoured the chaos tablets. It's not very realistic for them to refine the chaos tablets. Therefore, we have to think of other ways to stop the Oracle and Emperor Yun. Otherwise, it's not just us. Even your family members will not be able to survive. If it had been before, Xian Tong wouldn't have said this. However, the situation was different now. He and Longao had formed an alliance and even called each other brothers. Therefore, although his words were harsh, they were the truth. Longao didn't care at all. How could he not know Xian Tong's worries? Chapter 28-26. Xian Tong, do you have a way? The Sky Martial Continent had the back lake of the Primal Chaos Palace. Longao was not worried about Cloud Emperor and the rest barging in. Xian Tong nodded and said, Longao, if nothing goes wrong, Emperor Yun, the marvelous mathematician, and the others will force their way in a few months. They can't get in. Soaring Dragon Realm. Hearing the words Soaring Dragon Realm, Longao's face suddenly changed. Until this moment, Longao did not dare to say whether the seal of the chaotic rock, Xiling and Longchong, could really withstand the seal of the many rulers of Starry Sky. What if it was broken? It was better to be safe than sorry. Seeing that Longao did not speak, Xian Tong already knew that the Soaring Dragon Realm was Longao's weakness. Starry Sky cultivators were most afraid of this kind of thing. As long as you had a weakness, your chances of winning would be greatly reduced. Brother Long, if possible, why don't you gather everyone in the Soaring Dragon Realm here? How could Longao not know what Xian Tong meant? Could he really do that? Longao had thought about this question countless times. If he could master the power of chaos, then he could even fight against Emperor Yun. But now the situation did not allow him to do so. If he brought everyone to the Sky Martial Continent, if the Chaos Palace was breached or he left here, then it would be a fatal blow to his family. He could not afford to gamble. He could not afford to lose. Once he lost, he would lose everything and regret it for the rest of his life. I can't do that. I can't afford to lose. It was a simple sentence, but Longao's meaning was very clear. Xian Tong seemed to have guessed that Longao would do that. Then what are you going to do? Xian Tong also knew that Longao could not give up the Soaring Dragon Realm. If that was the case, if Emperor Yun and the others really joined forces to break the seal, then it would be a devastating blow to the Soaring Dragon Realm. As for what Longao was going to do, Xian Tong did not know. However, Xian Tong had already made up his mind. Since he had already chosen to follow Longao, he would follow him through life and death, even if it meant that he was doomed eternally. Longao clearly understood what Xian Tong was thinking in his heart. It was also because of this that he revealed all of his secrets. He sighed deeply. Looking at Xian Tong in front of him, Longao said helplessly, "We can't afford to lose. The current situation is very unfavorable to us. The only way is to strengthen the seal so that Emperor Yun and the others can't break it." Difficult. It was indeed difficult, extremely difficult. Both Longao and Xian Tong were completely confident that Master God Diviner and the others wouldn't be able to break the sealing mark. Only Emperor Yun and Yun Lu remained. Regardless of whether it was Emperor Yun or Yun Lu, both of them had already mastered chaotic force. Once Yun Lu's injuries were completely healed, it was still unknown if the two of them would be able to break the seal of the cave dwelling if they joined forces. It would be best if it couldn't be broken. What if they broke it? At that time, they wouldn't even have the chance to regret. Longao and Xian Tong naturally thought of this. Hence, it was too difficult to continue strengthening the seal. No matter what, Emperor Yun and Yun Lu were too strong. The seal by the chaotic Great Rock and two Starry Sky rulers was already very strong. Even if they strengthened the seal, it wouldn't be that easy. Longao was also very conflicted. In fact, he had a way, which was to use his Chaos Palace. Longao was completely confident that as long as his Chaos Palace covered the entire Soaring Dragon Realm, even if Yun Lu recovered from his injuries, he wouldn't be able to break the Chaos Palace even if he joined forces with Emperor Yun. However, there was a hard condition, which was that he couldn't leave the Soaring Dragon Realm. Once he left, the Chaos Palace would definitely leave with him. Could it be that he had to refine it in the Soaring Dragon Realm? Let's go. Where to? The Soaring Dragon Realm. Xian Tong had already guessed something and didn't ask any more questions. The two left the Sky Martial Continent and quickly headed towards the Soaring Dragon Realm. Longao repeatedly thought about it. If the godly mathematician and Yi Dugu didn't enter the Sky Martial Continent, no one else would be able to. After all, the primal chaos source was a forbidden area of the Yun family. If anyone dared to open it, they would probably be killed by Emperor Yun. How could the crowd not know about this? As for Longao's whereabouts, everyone had already guessed it. However, they didn't do anything. No matter what, the spatial chaos divine tool in Longao's hands was too heaven-defying. Not to mention others, even Emperor Yun couldn't break it. Everyone was thinking of a way to break the seal. Time passed, and 3 years passed in the blink of an eye. In these 3 years, Longao had been refining the remaining half of the non-attributed primal chaos stone tablets. Everyone who was outside was called back, especially the 9 people who had devoured the 9 primal chaos stone tablets. Once they refined the primal chaos stone tablets, the 9 of them would become the rulers of the universe. However, 3 years was too short for Longao. The primal chaos stone tablets didn't even have the slightest movement. According to the time difference, when he refined the primal chaos stone tablets in the immortal world, it took him about 10,000 years. If he wanted to refine the remaining primal chaos stone tablets, it would take him about 30,000 to 90,000 years, or even longer. Longao couldn't wait any longer. He knew that Emperor Yun and the others wouldn't let him off easily. If it was just Emperor Yun, it would be fine. At most, he wouldn't leave the Soaring Dragon Realm. Emperor Yun and the others wouldn't be able to break through the primal chaos palace. The only thing that worried Longao was the family behind Emperor Yun. It was the Yun family from the primal chaos realm. Longao knew very well what it meant for the Yun family to be able to stand in the primal chaos realm. They had countless experts. If Emperor Yun sent reinforcements to the primal chaos realm, and a few of them suddenly joined forces, who knew if his primal chaos realm could withstand them? The more he thought about it, the more worried he became. If it was really as he thought, then things would be troublesome. Until now, he still didn't know the classification of the primal chaos energy. However, he was sure that even Emperor Yun would be the weakest existence in the primal chaos realm. Brother Long, Emperor Yun said something before.
Tell me.
The primal chaos rock is Huijinpeng. According to Emperor Yun, Huijinpeng is a mid-god, and he is no match for Huijinpeng. Mid-god? Longao knew that this was the classification of strength in the primal chaos realm. However, Emperor Yun didn't say it clearly, so he couldn't guess. The only thing he was sure of was that Huijinpeng could defeat Emperor Yun at his peak. However, Huijinpeng wasn't only severely injured, he even burned his own energy to seal the cave. Even if he could break the seal, Huijinpeng wouldn't be a match for Emperor Yun. Longao, why don't you break the seal now? With Huijinpeng's help, you and I might be able to master the primal chaos energy. Chapter 28-27. How could Longao not know what Xian Tong meant? If it was before, Huijinpeng might have been able to help him. But now, Xian Tong, Huijinpeng burned his own power to help me seal the cave abode. I don't even know if he's dead.
Ah?
He was startled. Xian Tong didn't expect things to be so serious. He was also guessing the relationship between Longao and Huijinpeng for him to risk his life to help Longao seal the cave abode. Unbelievable. He didn't say anything else. Xian Tong, even if we have a way to control the power of chaos, this isn't the time. If you can control the power of chaos, I can guarantee that the Yun family in the chaos realm will send someone over immediately. Longao was sure that Emperor Yun must have sent a message back to the Yun family in the chaos realm. Under normal circumstances, the Yun family should have sent someone over. But in the end, no one came down until now. Longao guessed that something must have happened to the Yun family. After all, he had 2 chaos divine weapons. It was too tempting. What was it that caused the Yun family to waste time? For some reason, the Yun family wanted to seal a vast starry sky. After all, the vast starry sky was insignificant to the Chaos realm, especially for the Yun family. How could such a powerful family seal a vast starry sky? The only explanation was that there was something unknown in the vast starry sky. The Yun family didn't want others in the Chaos realm to know about it. Hence, they sealed the vast starry sky and didn't allow anyone to control the power of chaos to enter the Chaos realm. Although it was just a guess, Longao was confident. However, it wasn't absolute. If someone really controlled the power of chaos and was forcefully sucked into the channel, the Yun family would rush over immediately. He told Xian Tong about his worries. Xian Tong nodded and said helplessly, "Longao, our path is too dangerous. If the Yun family sends someone over, we'll definitely die." Xian Tong had no confidence at all. Emperor Yun and Yun Lu were enough of a headache. Now there was the Yun family. Longao smiled and said firmly, "Xian Tong, since you've chosen to be my brother, Longao, I won't let you down. You'll be excited about your choice today." Was that really the case? If it were anyone else, Xian Tong would definitely disagree. However, it was Longao who said it. He was a monster who had created countless miracles. Xian Tong didn't regret it at all. Since he had made his choice, he wouldn't regret it no matter what price he had to pay. In the vast starry skies, in an extremely secluded but elegant valley, Yun Lu's expression was gloomy to the extreme. He said solemnly, "Father, our news has already been sent back to the clan. According to normal circumstances, the clan should have already sent people down." There was something fishy going on. If it had been in the past, Emperor Yun would not have wanted his family to send someone down so soon. After all, he wanted to get his hands on Longao's chaotic divine weapon. However, the situation was different now. Just as Lu had said, under normal circumstances, the family members should have come down by now. However, no one had been seen until now. Even Emperor Yun felt that something was amiss. "Father." He waved his hand. Emperor Yun's face was also very ugly. He said, "Lu, you should know the status of our clan in the Chaos realm. There are too many forces that can easily destroy our clan." Yun Lu didn't say anything. Countless years ago, the clan suddenly discovered that there was an inheritance in this starry skies. However, we didn't dare to send a large number of people in. Only the two of us used a secret technique to enter this place and seal all the chaos passageways in the starry skies. If the passageways are opened by force and the clan members enter, I'm afraid this matter will be leaked. Yun Lu gradually understood what his father meant. The Yun clan might have some status in the Chaos realm, but there were too many forces and people who could destroy the Yun clan. Sigh. Emperor Yun sighed heavily and said helplessly, "Although I don't know if the two chaotic divine weapons in Longao's hands are the treasures we are looking for, and I don't know if the inheritance is still there. However, I do know one thing. If we can get the inheritance in time, the Yun clan will be able to stand at the top of the Chaos realm from now on." They had to get the inheritance. It was easy to think about it, but it was difficult to actually do it. If it was so easy to find, they wouldn't have to guard this place for so many years. In particular, this matter couldn't be leaked out. Otherwise, not only would the inheritance go to waste, but it would also bring disaster to the clan. However, Emperor Yun had a bad feeling in his heart. Could something have happened to the clan? He didn't dare to believe it, but he didn't want to believe it either. Although his clan wasn't much in the Chaos realm, they still had some strength in that place. Under normal circumstances, no one would dare to touch his clan. The reason why the clan didn't come was because they didn't dare to casually open the passage. It seems like the clan doesn't want to leak the information here. Let us deal with this matter. "Father, Longao has a chaotic divine weapon protecting him. We can't break it open at all. As long as he hides in there, we can't do anything to him." According to the clairvoyant, Longao has refined half of the Chaos Tablet. I believe that in less than 100 years, Longao will be able to refine the remaining Chaos Tablet. At that time, it will be even harder for us to kill him. Would it really take 100 years? Yun-Lu wasn't surprised in the slightest. This was because Longao had stepped into the spatial crack and refined the primal chaos tablets. It hadn't even been a few years since then. Who knew if Longao could refine the remaining primal chaos tablets in a few years? After all, Longao was a variable, an uncontrollable variable. If they couldn't kill Longao now, then there was no way they'd be able to wait until Longao became the ruler of space. If that happened, they'd be in a passive position. In truth, the two of them didn't know that Longao had spent over 10,000 years refining half of the Chaos Tablet. However, there was an absolute difference in time between the Chaos Realm and the immortal world. Even so, Longao could refine half of the Chaos Tablet in 10,000 years. He was a genius among geniuses. In the Chaos Realm, he wouldn't be considered much, but here in the Chaos Realm, they were in the Chaos Realm. Think of a way to break the Space Chaos Divine tool in Longao's hands. This kid's transformation is too big. If he destroys our plan, the family will definitely not spare you and me. Father, we've been searching for so long but haven't found the inheritance. Could it be that the information the clan received was wrong? That there's no such thing as an inheritance here? Chapter 28. Inheritance. Upon hearing the word inheritance, Emperor Yun's face turned ugly. The family had only received news that there was a super expert's inheritance in this galaxy. As for whether it existed or not, it was still unknown. Even so, the Yun family still made a decision. No matter the price, they had to obtain the inheritance. Because only by obtaining the inheritance could the Yun family rise. If you and I were still in the Chaos Realm with our talents and the family's nurturing, I believe we would have broken through to the Middle God Realm. But ever since we came to this galaxy, our realms have not improved. Yun-Lu also sighed. For the family, they could not improve their realms for countless years. Other than the galaxy not being able to support us to break through, we can't break through either. Otherwise, we would be forcefully sucked into the Chaos Channel. Father, is it worth it for us to do this? Is it worth it? Is it really worth it? Not only Yun-Lu, but even Emperor Yun had asked himself countless times whether it was worth it. If there was no inheritance in this starry sky, then the time they had wasted here would have been wasted. How could they be willing? Thinking of this, Emperor Yun clenched his fists. Suddenly, he smiled and said, even if there is no inheritance, we can still get 2 chaos artifacts. It is worth it. Thinking of how powerful Longao's 2 chaos artifacts were, Yun-Lu smiled too. How is Qian? Father, I am being stripped of my memories. The Cloud Emperor's expression changed slightly, and he said in a cold voice, are you crazy? If you strip Qian of her memories, no matter how much the family pays, Qian will stop at the level of a lower god. She will never become a middle god. Father. Humph. Emperor Yun snorted. His voice became even colder as he said, Qian is the most talented person in the Yun family in the past 10,000 years. She has already devoured the Chaos Tablet in the galaxy. When she returns to the family, she will definitely break through to the Middle God Realm or even higher. You want to strip Qian's memories? Who gave you the courage? It was very depressing. Father, Qian is also my daughter. If it was not a last resort, I would not be willing to do this. Of course, Emperor Yun knew what was going on. It was a headache. He really could not figure out why this precious granddaughter of his did not like other people but liked Longao. But after thinking about it, he felt relieved. Putting aside their hostile relationship, Longao's talent and luck were not bad. Such a person could grow to a very high level even in the Chaos Realm, let alone here. I will contact the family as soon as possible. If we still can't find the inheritance, we will ask the family to allow us to return. Go back. Could they really go back? Hearing the word return, Yun-Lu's body visibly trembled. Ever since he left his clan in the primal chaos realm, Yun-Lu had been thinking about going back. Although he could be invincible in the vast starry sky, this was ultimately not his home. Not in the past, not now, and definitely not in the future. However, Yunlu, who had just been extremely excited, seemed to have thought of something. Like a deflated balloon, he said, before we can confirm whether or not there is an inheritance in this vast starry sky, I think the clan will definitely not allow us to return. Cloud Emperor was well aware of this. I'll try my best. Even if it doesn't work, they can recruit new people to replace us. We've been guarding this place for so many years. It's time for someone else to take over. Cloud Emperor was completely confident that as long as he could successfully return to the primal chaos realm, it wouldn't be long before he could become a god. Although there was only a difference of one level between a god and a god, no one knew better than him just how big the gap between the two was. Father, then what about Qian'er? Thinking of his own daughter, Yunlu felt a deep sense of helplessness. As a father, he could clearly sense that his daughter had truly fallen in love with Longao. Although he didn't want to believe it, the truth was right in front of him. He had no choice but to believe it. He felt very helpless. Let me think about Qian'er, the soaring dragon realm. Longao was still constantly refining the primal chaos tablets within his body. He had only refined half of the primal chaos tablets. In a short period of time, it was impossible to refine the remaining half of the primal chaos tablets. At the very least, it would take tens of thousands of years, or even hundreds of thousands of years. Regarding this, Longao was extremely helpless. After all, refining the primal chaos tablets wasn't something that could be shortened. However, Longao was almost certain that if he entered the primal chaos realm to refine the primal chaos tablets, the time needed would be shortened countless times. It was just that he couldn't enter the primal chaos realm. He had once left the soaring dragon realm and had properly investigated the primal chaos channel. The final result: unless one could control the power of primal chaos, one could only enter the primal chaos channel. Otherwise, if one tried to force their way in, they would only be killed by the power of primal chaos. If it was anyone else, they wouldn't even be able to step into the outermost region. Only Longao, with all his trump cards, could enter and exit the outermost region freely. But even so, what could he do? Very helpless, but not too troubled. Because Longao knew that even if he could enter the primal chaos channel, at least now wasn't the best time. There were still many things to deal with here. If he entered the primal chaos realm, he probably wouldn't be able to return until he reached a very high realm. The most important thing now was to refine the primal chaos tablets. Only by becoming a starry sky dominator could he truly have the power to protect himself. Longao, do you have time? Would you like to chat? Why is Emperor Yun here? Xian Tong's face was very solemn, but he wasn't worried at all. He had full confidence in Longao's heaven-defying primal chaos artifact. If Emperor Yun could break the seal, he would have entered long ago. I also have many things to discuss with him. Longao wasn't worried in the slightest. Just in case. He won't make a move at this time. Longao left the soaring dragon realm, but the primal chaos palace left with him. Xian Tong was very vigilant in guarding the realm, just in case Emperor Yun wanted to lure the tiger away from the mountain. Seeing that Longao had really come out, Emperor Yun said with admiration, "Don't worry. While we're talking, no one will dare to make a move. Not even the oracle." Understood. If he didn't have the slightest confidence, Longao wouldn't have dared to leave so casually. After all, without the protection of the primal chaos palace, who knew if the oracle and the others would launch a sneak attack? Until now, he still didn't know how long the cave-dwelling seal could hold. Why are you looking for me? Now that they were enemies, Longao couldn't figure out why Emperor Yun suddenly looked for him. Chapter 28-29. Please. Longao wasn't worried in the slightest. Unless Emperor Yun was 100% sure that he could break through his Chaos Palace, he would be safe as long as he entered the Chaos Palace. Longao followed Emperor Yun all the way to the east. Both of them were extremely fast. In just a few minutes, they had arrived at the Yun family's base camp. Was Emperor Yun planning to attack him? Longao laughed in his heart. He didn't think it was possible. He could clearly sense that Emperor Yun didn't have any killing intent towards him. Longao, I want to ask, where did you get the 2 Chaos Divine weapons? It was about the Chaos Divine weapons again. Even though Longao had a rough idea of what was going on, he still felt disgusted when he heard Emperor Yun ask about the Chaos Divine artifact. Emperor Yun seemed to be able to read Longao's mind and didn't care at all. Seeing that Longao didn't speak, Emperor Yun continued, if I'm not mistaken, you should know something. Very little. Emperor Yun smiled. Back then. Father, are you going to tell him? Hearing that his father was going to tell Longao about the inheritance, Yunlu was shocked. If the family knew about it, not only his father, but he and Qian would also be implicated. What was wrong with his father? Why would he tell Longao about the inheritance? It could be said that the inheritance was the family's biggest secret. Not to mention outsiders, even many in the family didn't know about it. Emperor Yun smiled and waved his hand, saying, I know what I'm doing. Looking at Longao, he said, back then, our family accidentally found a shocking secret. In this galaxy, there is an inheritance of an expert. If our family could get it. At this point, Cloud Emperor did not continue, but the meaning of his words was very clear. Longao wasn't a fool. Of course, he could understand. He was shocked. All the mysteries were solved. In the end, the Yun family in the Chaos Realm found the inheritance of an expert in the galaxy and wanted to take it for themselves. Hence, they used a secret method to bring Emperor Yun and the others here. With Emperor Yun and Yunlu's strength, they were invincible existences in this place. Back then, we slaughtered all the Starry Sky Dominators to prevent anyone from entering the Primal Chaos Realm. But even after countless years of searching, we still haven't found any information about the inheritance. Yunlu was completely depressed. What happened to father? Why did he even tell her about the massacre of the Starry Sky Cultivators? After all, it was a family secret. Longao didn't care, as he had already guessed something. It was reasonable to slaughter all the Starry Sky rulers in order to obtain the inheritance of a powerhouse. In order to prevent the secret from being leaked, no matter who it was, they would have done the same. There was no doubt about that. Understood. Hearing Longao's answer, Cloud Emperor nodded and said, in the chaotic realm, the strong are respected. If we want our family to go further, we must. Longao, of course, knew what Emperor Yun wanted to say. He waved his hand and interrupted Emperor Yun, saying, the matter of your family and inheritance seems to have nothing to do with me. However, you attacked me for no reason. I will settle this score with you in the future. Humph. Yun Tian, who was behind Yunlu, snorted coldly when he heard this, but when he saw the look in his ancestor's eyes, he forced himself to endure it. Longao, no matter where you go, the strong are respected. If this happened in the chaotic realm, I believe countless people would come to snatch it. This is not the chaotic realm. Longao didn't feel much disgust. As Emperor Yun said, no matter where he went, the strong were respected. Since he had revealed 2 chaotic divine weapons, there would definitely be people coming to snatch it. Since they wanted to snatch it, they were enemies. Since they were enemies, they would fight to the death. This is indeed not the chaotic realm, but the chaotic divine weapons in your hands are too heaven-defying. Let alone me, I believe that no matter who it is, once they see it, they would not hesitate to snatch it. What do you think? Continue. Longao knew very well that Emperor Yun didn't look for him for a simple reason. He might as well continue to listen and see what Emperor Yun was up to. Not to mention Longao. Even Yunlu and the other 2 at the side didn't know what Emperor Yun was up to. Longao, we are not enemies. If it weren't for the chaotic divine weapons, we might have become enemies because of Qian. Longao didn't want to continue listening. He snorted coldly and said, you want to snatch my chaotic divine weapons and say that we are not enemies? Emperor Yun, I think water must have entered your brain. Longao didn't want to get angry, but he couldn't help it. He had seen shameless people before, but he had never seen such a shameless person. Wanting to snatch his chaotic divine weapons wasn't a big deal, but saying it so casually and asking him not to take it to heart was simply the most shameless of shameless. Emperor Yun wasn't angry at all. He continued to smile and said, "Longao, I will allow you to date Qian and from today onwards, I will not do anything to you. What do you think?" What did that mean? Longao didn't have the slightest interest in Qian but he knew very well that it would be a lie to say that he didn't have any feelings for Yun Qian. However, it seemed impossible for him to become friends with Emperor Yun. It was precisely because they had tried to deal with him that he had no choice but to step into the space crack and almost died. It was difficult to let go of hatred. Benefits come first. In this world, there are no eternal enemies and no eternal friends. Alliance. Yun Lu was completely shocked when he heard his father's words. He had never thought that his father would want to become friends with Longao. What was going on? Did his father not want the chaotic divine weapons anymore? He couldn't figure it out. He really couldn't figure it out. What did his father mean? However, Yun Lu didn't say much. His father knew very well that even if he said or did something, it might not change his father's mind. It was precisely because of this that even though Yun Lu was very unwilling in his heart, he still endured it in the end. I want to know the reason. There was no such thing as a free lunch, especially when it came to his two chaotic divine weapons. He knew better than anyone how tempting they were. It was simply illogical for Emperor Yun to give up on snatching them. Even if it was for Yun Qian, it was impossible. In front of the interests of the family, an individual was nothing and could be sacrificed at any time. Before Emperor Yun could speak, Longao said again, "I want to hear the truth. If you play tricks, we will fight to the death. Even if I, Longao, die, I will drag the Yun family down with me." Chapter 2830. Just you? Shameless boasting. Aren't you afraid of biting your tongue? Although Yun Lu didn't say anything, the murderous aura on his face spoke for itself. Longao was too arrogant. Even if the Yun family wasn't a big force in the chaotic realm, dealing with a small Longao was a piece of cake. But for some reason, the Yun family hadn't sent anyone down yet. Emperor Yun wasn't angry at all and said calmly, "I've found out that it's impossible for us to take the two chaotic divine weapons from you." Although he didn't want to admit it, the truth was right in front of him. "Besides, I have a feeling that there's a problem in my family, so we need your help. Find the inheritance as soon as possible." That's right. Longao wasn't stupid. Emperor Yun wouldn't turn from an enemy to a friend for no reason. There must be a reason. Inheritance. Other than the inheritance, he couldn't think of a second reason. After all, Emperor Yun had said that the inheritance was too important to him. "If I get the inheritance, are you sure I won't be tempted?" It would be a lie to say that he wasn't tempted by the inheritance of a super expert. Emperor Yun didn't care at all, and said, "This is the most important reason why I chose you. Although you're not a good person, you should be a sentimental person. Since you and Qian can be together, I believe you won't steal our family's things." What a headache. Old fox. Definitely a 1,000-year-old fox. Longao had already believed Emperor Yun's words, and he didn't want to continue being enemies with Emperor Yun. There were no eternal enemies in this world, and no eternal friends. Everything should be based on interests. Moreover, without an enemy like Emperor Yun, his family would be safer. "Emperor Yun, how can I believe you?" Essence soul oath. Yun Lu's heart skipped a beat. He knew that his father wasn't joking. He was serious. Just as expected. Before anyone could say anything, Cloud Emperor had already made a primordial spirit oath and forced Yun Lu and the others to make a primordial spirit oath as well. Longao was caught off guard and didn't know what was going on with Cloud Emperor. The change was too fast. "You believe me now? Wise. I want to get the inheritance." Longao shook his head. His meaning was clear. Seeing this situation, Yun Lu and the other two were completely enraged. They fiercely said, "Longao, you've gone too far. We sincerely cooperated with you and even turned enemies into friends. Yet, you deliberately played us." Yun Lu was truly enraged. It wasn't just Yunlu. Even Cloud Emperor was a little displeased. He had already made the biggest concession, but Longao was still pushing his luck. If it weren't for the possibility that something might happen to his family, and the fact that Longao's spatial chaos divine artifact was really troublesome, he definitely wouldn't have chosen to compromise. Qian was one of them as well. Otherwise, he would have killed Longao and taken the two chaos divine artifacts. Cloud Emperor's intention was simple. First, Longao's spatial chaos divine artifact was something that even the elders of his family might not be able to break. Although it was just intuition, he had always believed in his intuition. Second, the inheritance wasn't asking for a fight. If he continued to fight with Longao, there was no doubt that when Longao truly refined the chaos divine artifact and became a starry sky ruler or grasped the power of chaos, it would be too passive. Third, his granddaughter liked this person. If they could become family, it wouldn't be a bad thing. After all, he had left many people in the family and should nurture some of his own people. If he rashly returned to the family, who knew what would happen? After thinking about it, in the end, Cloud Emperor decided to turn enemies into friends with Longao. I have no problem cooperating with you, but I have a condition.
Speak.
I can give up the inheritance, but I can't give it to anyone except Qian. How could Longao not know about Qian's feelings for him? Anyway, he already had a few close female friends. One more wouldn't make a difference. Longao didn't want to let down a good girl who treated him wholeheartedly. Because of this, after thinking about it, Longao decided to give the inheritance to Qian.
He had thought about it.
Cloud Emperor and Yunlu wouldn't agree if he or his family got the inheritance. Moreover, if they got the inheritance, it wouldn't benefit him at all. The best way was to let Qian get the inheritance. It was the best of both worlds. Cloud Emperor and Yunlu didn't seem to expect Longao to do this. They looked at each other and seemed to have come to a decision. Cloud Emperor smiled and said, "No problem. Qian will always be a member of the Cloud family. After you and Qian are together." Grandfather. Before Emperor Yun could finish his words, a person quickly came from not far away. It was Qian who was imprisoned. Until now, Yun Qian still did not know what was going on. Why did her father and grandfather suddenly form an alliance with Longao? However, this was what she wanted to see the most. In the blink of an eye, she smiled and said, "I finally got you." Longao's face was filled with black lines. He had seen ferocious people before, but he had never seen such a ferocious person. However, since he had already decided to accept it, he would open his heart. He smiled and said, "You have to thank your grandfather." Qian, sit down. Grandfather has something to talk to Longao about. Okay. Yun Qian came to Longao's side and sat down. Her meaning was clear. Both Cloud Emperor and Yunlu shook their heads helplessly. A grown girl couldn't be kept at home. It was true. The two didn't care at all. Cloud Emperor said, "Longao, this vast universe is now under the control of our Cloud family. Countless rulers of the universe have been killed by us. Many years ago, 12 people obtained the 12 Chaos Tablets and began to refine them. Later, the clairvoyant master plotted to lure 11 people into the cycle of reincarnation. Longao didn't speak. He just listened quietly because he knew most of what had happened. Back then, Lu and the clairvoyant master fought to a draw.
What? A draw?
Longao was thoroughly shocked. He knew better than anyone else what kind of strength Yunlu had in the past. Yunlu had mastered the power of primal chaos. Moreover, he also had a primal chaos divine tool. How could the divine mathematician be Yunlu's opponent? However, he didn't have the slightest doubt. After all, Cloud Emperor had no reason to lie to him, especially in this situation. "It's not just you. Even we can't figure it out." Back then, the clairvoyant master hadn't become a lower god, but he was able to fight against Lu Wu. If this was in the chaos realm, it would be an unprecedented thing. Chapter 28-31.
Not simple.
The clairvoyant was definitely not simple. Longao, I believe you've already guessed it. The clairvoyant is definitely not simple. He nodded. Longao had never been able to see through the clairvoyant. There were two people who gave him a sense of danger and mystery. One was the clairvoyant, and the other was Nangong-in. Do you know the clairvoyant's identity? The Cloud Emperor shook his head and said, No. But according to my guess, the clairvoyant should be from the Chaos Realm.
Huh?
That shouldn't be possible. The clairvoyant hadn't swallowed the Chaos Tablet when the Yun family slaughtered all the rulers of the universe.
How could he be from the Chaos Realm?
Longao was very curious. However, he knew very well that the Cloud Emperor had no reason to lie to him. At first, I was also very curious. After these days of guessing, I finally have a general idea. I'd like to hear more. Longao also wanted to know the clairvoyant's true identity and why he hid his strength. It was very strange. Was the clairvoyant also for the inheritance of the universe? I thought about it and could only roughly confirm that the clairvoyant is very likely the reincarnation of an expert who hasn't awakened yet. Longao knew very well what the Cloud Emperor said. If that was the case, then the clairvoyant was indeed not simple. He just didn't know how strong the clairvoyant was before he reincarnated. Longao did not miss this opportunity when he thought of the division of the chaotic force. He immediately asked, Senior Cloud Emperor, I would like to know something about the chaotic realm, especially the division of strength. The Cloud Emperor and the others knew, but it didn't mean that Longao knew. Not only Longao, but also the vast universe. There were very few people who knew about the Chaos Realm. You'll know about these things when you enter the Chaos Realm. Since you've asked, I'll tell you in advance so that you can be prepared when you enter the Chaos Realm in the future. If they could find the inheritance, the Yun family wouldn't continue to seal the vast universe. To the people of the Chaos Realm, no matter which universe it was a trivial matter. If it wasn't for the inheritance, the Yun family wouldn't be able to control the universe. Both sides were well aware of the situation, but no one brought up the topic. The primal Chaos Realm is above all the stars. It is the largest realm. Not only Longao, but even Yun Qian was listening attentively. Although Yun Qian was a member of the Yun family, she had followed Emperor Yun and Yun Lu to this cosmos at a very young age. She had never entered the Chaos Realm for countless years. There are a total of 99 heavens in the primal Chaos Realm. They are divided into 33 lower heavens, 33 middle heavens, and 33 upper heavens. Grandfather, which heaven domain is our Yun family in? Cloud Emperor smiled and rubbed Yun Qian's head and continued, Our Yun family is located in one of the 33 heavens domains, Blackstone Heavenly Domain. To the entire Chaos Realm, the Blackstone Heavenly region was indeed nothing. There were various ranks. The Low Heaven Realm was like the Low Heaven Realm, Medium Heaven Realm, and High Heaven Realm to the Middle Heaven Realm and High Heaven Realm. Our Yun clan is located in Chinquin City in the Blackstone Heavenly region. There are 3 big clans in total, namely our Yun clan, Ling clan, and Yi clan. Just as he said this, Yun Tian rushed over and passed a jade slip to Emperor Yun's hand. Old ancestor, there is news from the clan. He was overjoyed. After waiting for so many days, there was finally news from the clan. Impatient, Emperor Yun's primordial spirit entered the jade slip. His face turned uglier and gloomier. Father, what's wrong? Looking at his father's gloomy face, Yun Lu's heart skipped a beat. He had a bad premonition. Did something really happen to the clan? Something really did happen. Emperor Yun sighed deeply and said helplessly, I don't know who leaked the news. Just a few months ago, the other 2 big clans in Chinquin City already knew about the inheritance. Yun Lu, Yun Tian, and Yun He were completely shocked. The 3 of them knew very well what it meant for the inheritance to be leaked out. Father, could it be that the other 2 big clans want to interfere with the inheritance? The 3 big clans in Chinquin City were similar in strength. However, if the Yi clan and Ling clan were to join forces, it would be impossible for the Yun clan to fight against the 2 of them alone. Yes, according to the news from the clan, The Yi clan and Ling clan already know about the inheritance and have formed an alliance in the shortest time possible. The clan means that if nothing goes wrong, the two big clans will send people over. Clans in the Chaos Realm. Longao was also shocked in his heart. Even a small clan in the Low Heaven Realm would be extremely powerful. If these clans were to send people over, one could imagine what would happen. Senior Emperor Yun, I wonder how you can stay in the vast starry sky. From what I know, as long as you enter the Chaos Realm, you can't step into other starry skies. This was also what Longao was most curious about. You're right. Under normal circumstances, once you enter the Chaos Realm, you can't step into the vast starry skies. Not to mention us, even the high and mighty Lord Shunhuang can't step into it. However, there is a way to enter the starry skies. This method is too harmful to oneself. Unless it's a last resort, no one will try it. Moreover, staying in the starry skies for a long time will cause one's strength to regress. Even if you return to the Chaos Realm, it will be difficult to make up for your previous losses. After saying that, Emperor Yun sighed deeply and continued, for the inheritance, when the five of us entered the starry skies, I was already infinitely close to becoming a mid-level god. However, because I stayed here for too long, I couldn't become a mid-level god in my lifetime, including them. However, Qian-Er's situation is different. When Qian-Er grasps the chaos energy, she will naturally enter the Chaos Realm. Then, according to Qian-Er's talent, she will definitely go higher in the future. As for the people in the Chaos Realm who want to come to the various starry skies, other than the bodies of their descendants, the most important thing is to connect the passageway to the starry skies. The price to pay for every connection is too great. Father, didn't you say that when you return to the Chaos Realm, you can become a mid-level god? Yunlu was shocked. Of course, he knew what his father said. However, he didn't expect that even his father couldn't escape. Emperor Yun just smiled and said, I just hope. The probability of success is less than 1%. Forget it. As a member of the Yun clan, the clan's interests come first. Senior Emperor Yun, can't we use the passageways from various planes to the Chaos Realm? Chapter 2832.
No.
Emperor Yun said helplessly. Cloud Emperor said helplessly, I know what you mean, but I have to tell you that there are portals to Chaos Realm in every universe, but Chaos Realm doesn't have any portals to other universes. So that's how it is. The Chaos Realm was really a mysterious realm.
He didn't know why.
Longao also began to yearn for the Chaos Realm. If it weren't for his family and his own reasons, he would have wanted to go to the Chaos Realm immediately. The conditions didn't allow it.
Wait.
The only thing he could do was wait. Emperor Yun seemed to be able to read Longao's mind. He smiled and said, when you master the power of chaos, you'll be forcefully brought into the Chaos Realm. But before that, you should settle your matters as soon as possible. Yun Lu said, when the inheritance is settled, we'll leave. Longao wasn't too worried. Ever since he formed an alliance with Emperor Yun, the only person he was worried about was the clairvoyant. There were more than 30 people in the Soaring Dragon Empire who had devoured the tablets. If he could refine all of them and become the ruler of the universe, it would mean a lot. Senior Emperor Yun, I want to ask about the power levels in the Chaos Realm. This was what Longao wanted to know the most. The power levels in the Chaos Realm.
He thought about it.
Emperor Yun said, those who didn't devour the tablets are called gods. They're the most ordinary people. Those who devour the tablets but don't refine them are called half-gods. They're not much stronger than ordinary people. At this moment, Yun Qian, who had been silent all this while, suddenly said, let me talk to Longao. You didn't explain it in detail at all. Looking at Qian-Er's expression, both Yun Lu and Emperor Yun shook their heads helplessly. They could clearly sense that Qian-Er really liked Longao. Not only did she like him, but she liked him very much. Longao, in the Chaos Realm, other than what grandfather just said, the rest are true warriors. Those who master the power of chaos are called lower gods. Above them are middle gods, upper gods, and master gods. Longao was very clear that regardless of whether it was Emperor Yun or Yunlu, they were actually both lower deities. This was especially true for Yunlu, who is currently unable to even reach the level of a lesser deity. Above the overgods are the god kings, which are the domain masters of the 33 lower heavens. What about the 33 middle heavens and 33 high heavens? Divine King. Longao didn't need to go to the Chaos Realm to know what a godly king was in the Chaos Realm. To be able to become the domain lord of a heaven domain, even if it was a lower heaven domain, their strength was probably unreachable. It's said that the domain lords of the 33 middle heavens are all godly emperors. The domain lords of the 33 heavens are peak godly emperors. Legendary godly emperors are too far away from us, so we don't know the details. Cloud Emperor nodded. Senior Cloud Emperor, forgive me for asking. Please. Ever since they started working together, Emperor Yun's attitude towards Longao took a 180-degree turn. Longao did not mind at all. In the past, when he and Qian were gone, Emperor Yun and Yunlu were considered family. What is the strength of the 3 great clans of Qianquan City? Superior God. Emperor Yun didn't hesitate at all. Because in Qianquan City, this wasn't a secret. If a clan didn't even have a superior god, they wouldn't be able to establish themselves in a city. This was fundamental. Then if the Ling and Yi family were to send people down, what kind of strength would they send down? This was the key point. Longao could almost be sure that no matter if it was the Ling or Yi family, once an expert came down, other than searching for the inheritance, the 3 great clans would most likely start a war here. The concept of being a bystander was something that he understood. Other than that, Longao was very sure that once the 2 great clans sent people down, the news of him possessing a chaos artifact would be leaked out. He could imagine what would happen then. It was still the same sentence. If he was alone, then no matter how much danger he faced, it wouldn't matter. After all, he had the Chaos Palace. Even if a middle god came down, he was confident that a middle god wouldn't be able to break through his Chaos Palace. But he had a clan. Even if he took 10,000 steps back, even if his clan had all refined the Primal Chaos tablets, who knew how long it would take for them to control Primal Chaos energy? Thus, this was a huge problem. How could Emperor Yun not know what Longao was worried about? He said, based on my guess, if the other 2 great clans already know about this, then they wouldn't send out gods at all. What's more, gods, to our 3 clans, are fundamental existences. If they forcefully enter this place, it would probably cause them to suffer tremendous damage, and their cultivation might even regress. So that's how it was. Longao's face was very ugly, because even a demigod would be hard for them to deal with. The most important thing right now was to think of a way to refine the remaining Primal Chaos tablets as quickly as possible. That way, even if they faced a demigod, they wouldn't be completely helpless. Father, did the clans say how many people the Ling and Yi families would send down? Yunlu was extremely worried as well, because the Ling and Yi families could casually send out any one of their clans, and their overall strength was on par with the Yun family. Now that the 2 clans had joined forces, even the clan wouldn't be able to do anything. Based on the information the clan gave me, the 3 great clans have come to a temporary agreement. The Ling and Yi families will each send out 3 demigods, while our Yun family will only be able to send 1. Also a demigod. Why? Yunlu couldn't understand. Since the 3 great clans had come to an agreement, then why were the other 2 clans able to send out 3 demigods, while his Yun family could only send 1 demigod? The difference was simply too great. It was hard to accept. This was too much. Longao had never imagined that the Ling and Yi families would send out 6 demigods all at once. He knew better than anyone else what a demigod meant. It meant that they had truly grasped the power of primal chaos, and every one of them was comparable to Emperor Yun. Moreover, Emperor Yun had been in the universe for so many years, and his strength had long been inferior to others. It seemed that the alliance of the Yi and Ling families had pressured the Yun family greatly. Otherwise, the Yun family wouldn't have agreed to such a request. They were completely bullying the Yun family. If that was the case, after entering the universe, the Yun family's chances of obtaining an inheritance would be greatly reduced. Although, until now, they still didn't know if there really was an inheritance in the vast universe. Don't worry, the clan has its own plans. Chapter 28:33. Father, who will our family send this time? Yun Lu asked worriedly. The Yi and Ling families sent a total of 6 people. Even with his father and the person the family was about to send, they could not compete with the Yi and Ling families. After all, staying in the vast galaxy for too long was too much damage to his father and himself. Among the lower gods, they were the weakest. Yun Shi, everyone will only stay here for a few years. Regardless of whether there is a legacy in the galaxy, they will all return to the Chaos Realm. Yun Shi? It was Yun Shi? Hearing that the family had sent Yun Shi, Yun Tian, Yun He, and Yun Lu were all completely shocked. Grandfather, who is Yun Shi's? Yun Xian had never entered the Chaos Realm, so she did not know anything about her family. More than 100 years ago, the family suddenly sent news that the 20-year-old Yun Shi had successfully become a lower god. 3 years ago, Yun Shi also successfully broke through to the peak of lower god. If nothing unexpected happens, Yun Shi will be able to break through to middle god when she returns to the family. Emperor Yun and the rest knew very well how big the gap between lower god and middle god was. Moreover, middle god was too important to the family. In the Chaos Realm, there were too many lower gods and gods, but middle gods were the foundation of the family. Longao seemed to have thought of something and said, according to what you said, as long as the people of the Chaos Realm enter the various galaxies by force, they will suffer great damage. In this case, when Yun Shi returns from the galaxy, can she still guarantee to break through to middle god? Emperor Yun knew what Longao was thinking. He smiled. In a few years, the damage should not be too great. Others might not be able to do it, but with the entire family supporting Yun Shi, I believe Yun Shi will eliminate all worries and break through to middle god. What about you, senior?
Me? What am I?
Emperor Yun sighed deeply and said helplessly, how can my status compare to Yun Shi's? Moreover, I have spent too much time in the galaxy, and the cost is too great. The family will not. At this point, Emperor Yun did not continue because he did not know what to say. However, Longao already understood the meaning behind it. Father. He waved his hand. Cloud Emperor knew what Yun Lu wanted to say, but he still stopped him and said, an individual can sacrifice himself at any time for the benefit of the family. Longao sighed helplessly in his heart. He was used to such things happening in the clan, so he didn't say much. Longao, do you know why the people here can't control the power of primal chaos? Chaos channel. You're really smart. Longao had already thought of this when he returned because he really couldn't think of a second reason apart from the chaos channel. The first thing we did when we entered was to seal the various chaos channels. That way, no one in the entire vast universe would be able to control the power of chaos. So that was the case. However, I've also received orders from my clan to immediately open the seals of all the chaos passageways. Otherwise, this matter will definitely be leaked out. If other clans find out about this, it will be devastating. How many chaos channels are there in space?
9.
Does every cosmos have 9 chaos passageways? That's right. It seemed that he had guessed correctly. If all 9 chaos channels were opened, the Oracle and the others would be forcefully sucked into the chaos once they mastered the power of primal chaos and entered the Chaos Realm. In fact, Longao still had another worry. Previously, the Yun clan was worried that the inheritance would be discovered in the Chaos Realm, so they forcefully sealed the 9 chaos channels. If they open the chaos channels now, wouldn't they be afraid that others would find out? The other clans wouldn't think of opening it at this time, but nothing is absolute. If we're unlucky, it's a different story. Father, when the people from the other 2 clans arrive, will we? Yun Lu's meaning was clear. Even if they couldn't find the inheritance, the three clans had always been fighting openly and secretly. It would be difficult to end this time, and it was still unknown who would live and who would die.
Kill.
A simple word was enough to express Emperor Yun's attitude. In fact, it also expressed the Yun clan's attitude. The three clans were well aware of this, but it would be best if they could find the inheritance. Senior Emperor Yun, how are you so sure that the inheritance existed in this starry sky? This was also what Longao was most curious about. Since they were so confident that they even massacred the starry sky to seal the chaos channel, the Yun clan should be able to find the location of the inheritance. But in the end, for so many years, the 5 Yun clan members had been guarding this starry sky, but they didn't find anything other than that. We're 50% sure. If we didn't have any news, our Yun clan wouldn't have paid such a huge price. Emperor Yun took out a map and said, "This is a map that our Yun clan accidentally obtained. It's this vast starry sky. As for the location of the inheritance, it seems that a part of it has been destroyed, so we can't determine the exact location of the inheritance." Longao didn't hold back because he had already decided to help the Yun clan obtain the inheritance. However, he wouldn't give it to anyone in the Yun clan, but to his lover, Qian. Because of this, he took the map and looked at it. As for Yun Lu and the others, they didn't say much. After all, Longao's luck, strength, and talent had already been recognized by them. Previously, they had no choice but to deal with Longao as a last resort. Now that they had formed an alliance, there was no need to fight against each other. The map indeed showed this vast starry sky. Longao was very sure of this. However, as Emperor Yun said, the map in their hands was obviously not complete. It was simply impossible to rely on this map to find the inheritance. No wonder Emperor Yun and the others had been searching for so many years without finding anything. Senior Emperor Yun, forgive me for being blunt. Since the Ling clan and the Yi clan already know about the inheritance, I'm afraid we can't keep this map. Emperor Yun knew Longao's worries very well. He said helplessly, "What you just said is also what the clan is worried about." That's right, the 2 clans already know about the map. So when they all arrive, I will share the map. In fact, this map is useless unless we can find the missing part. It was really frustrating. Emperor Yun had been searching for countless years, but he still couldn't find any clues. Who knew where the missing part was? It might even be in another starry sky. Chapter 2834. After understanding, Longao did not continue to stay, but returned to the soaring dragon dimension. Longao kept the Chaos Palace in his Dantian. The reason was simple. He had formed an alliance with Emperor Yun. Apart from the Yun family, it would not be easy for Master Clairvoyant and the others to break the seal. In less than a day, all the rulers of the universe already knew about the alliance between the Yun family and Longao. What was going on? Everyone was dumbfounded. Emperor Yun had teamed up with them to destroy Longao. How did they form an alliance in just a few days? They could not figure it out. They really could not figure it out. Emperor Yun and Yun Lu's actions shocked everyone. They did not know what to do. As for Master Clairvoyant and Yi Dugu, they had completely disappeared. 3 months later, Emperor Yun and Yun Lu took the Heavenly Thunder Sword and opened all 9 chaos passageways. Since then, Long Mia and the others suddenly felt that the chaos energy that they had not mastered for many years was beginning to show signs of loosening. It was very strange. The chaos tablet in their bodies seemed to have completely merged with them, and they were slowly beginning to master it. But even so, it wasn't easy for them to master the power of chaos. Longao was going all out to refine the chaos tablet in his body. It was a little difficult. After all, he could not wait for tens of thousands of years. According to Emperor Yun, it would not be long before the 6 lower gods from the Ling and Yi families arrived. When that time came, as long as someone leaked information about the Chaos Divine Weapon, they would definitely take it. The Chaos Axe was fine. This was especially true for the Primal Chaos Palace. Even in the primal chaos realm, such a powerful spatial artifact was extremely rare. Before the 6 lower gods arrived, they would not be able to refine the remaining half of the chaos tablet. This was really a headache. Master Clairvoyant and Yi Dugu had disappeared. Emperor Yun and Longao had formed an alliance. Even if the remaining rulers wanted to kill Longao or even take the Chaos Divine weapon in Longao's hands, they were powerless. Longao's strength might not be enough, but the Chaos Divine weapon in his possession was too powerful. Time passed. Longao didn't go looking for Dragon Annihilation and the others. After all, he hadn't refined the Chaos Tablet yet. Before he became a ruler of space, it wouldn't be easy for him to take revenge. 1 year later, Jianling Mountain. A terrifying wave of energy spread out in all directions. Patriarch, you're here? Emperor Yun nodded. He was also very nervous. For countless years, this was the first time he had seen someone from his family. Moreover, it was the most outstanding member of his family in the past 1,000 years, Yun Shi. Yun Shi was at the peak of low-level deity. She was only one step away from becoming a so-called mid-level deity. Ascending to the heavens in a single bound. Until now, Emperor Yun still couldn't figure out why his family had sent Yun Shi here. After all, Yun Shi's talent and strength were obvious. What if Yun Shi died? What if Yun Shi's body was damaged and she couldn't break through to become a medium deity? 1 beam of light, 2 beams of light, 3 beams of light, 7 rays of light appeared one after another as 7 people descended. They were the 3 great clans of Qianquan City from the lower heaven region of the primal chaos realm, the Yi clan, the Ling clan, and the Yun clan. All 7 of them were low-level deities, and 3 of them were peak low-level deities. For the Yi clan, 3 of them were peak low-level deities, Yi Han, Yi Yi, and Yi Ku. For the Ling clan, 3 of them were peak low-level deities, Ling Ruai, Ling Chung, and Ling Xiao. Only the Yun clan, only one of them came. It was Yun Shi, a peak low-level deity. She was also the number 1 person among the younger generation of the Yun clan. However, counting Emperor Yun and Yun Lu, there were 3 of them. However, comparing the 3 clans, the Yun clan was obviously at a disadvantage. After all, Yun Lu was no longer a low-level deity. As for Emperor Yun, he couldn't compete with other low-level deities either. They had stayed in the galaxy for too long. Uncle Yun, you've suffered all these years. Patriarch asked me to send you his regards. Miss Yun Shi, you're too kind. Thank you for your concern. Let's go. Wait. Just as Emperor Yun was about to leave with Yun Shi, Ling Chung of the Ling clan suddenly said, "Leave the map behind." Does the Yun clan still want to keep the inheritance to themselves? Emperor Yun seemed to have guessed that they would do this. He took out the map and said, "This is an incomplete map. If it was a complete map, we would have already gotten the inheritance. I made 2 copies, one for the Ling clan and one for the Yi clan." The Ling clan and the Yi clan didn't argue too much. After all, they came to the galaxy this time mainly for the sovereign's inheritance. They didn't care about anything else. Before they came, they had received news that all the dominators of the galaxy had been slaughtered by the Yun clan countless years ago. Although there were still people who had devoured the Chaos Stone Tablet, their strength was like an ant compared to the Yun clan. Whether it was the Ling clan or the Yi clan, if they wanted to kill these ants, it would be a piece of cake. However, the 2 clans didn't do so. From their point of view, they had no interest in killing ants. Seeing the Yun clan leaving, Ling Ruai smiled and said, "Brother Yi, our alliance ends here. If you want to find the sovereign's inheritance, you have to rely on your own abilities and opportunities."
Goodbye.
Ling Ruai and the other 2 didn't say much. They immediately turned and left. In the blink of an eye, they had disappeared without a trace. Yi Han looked at the 3 people who had disappeared. His face turned colder. The 3 clans of Qianquan City had been fighting openly and secretly for the past few years. They all wanted to devour each other. However, the 3 clans were similar in strength. Unless there was a substantial suppression, the other 2 clans would definitely join forces if they were to act rashly. It was precisely because of this that no one dared to openly start a war. Although the Ling clan and the Yi clan had formed a temporary alliance for this inheritance, both clans knew that it was only a temporary alliance. It was safest for the three clans to maintain a balance of power. If one side was eliminated, then the remaining two clans would fight against each other. At that time, it would most likely lead to destruction. No one wanted to break the three clans. Yi Han clenched his fists and said coldly, "I will get the inheritance. Ling Ruai, you can't run away either. I will make you submit to me obediently." In Qiankuan City, everyone knew that the genius disciple of the Yi clan, Yi Han, had always liked the genius disciple of the Ling clan, Ling Ruai. However, Ling Ruai was arrogant and cold. She ignored him and made Yi Han lose face. Of course, the Yun clan didn't want to see the two clans like this. "Big brother, what should we do next?" Looking at the incomplete map in his hand, Yi Han's face was gloomy. He said, "The Yun clan has been looking for it for countless years and still couldn't find it. We won't be able to find it with the incomplete map in our hands. Moreover, whether the inheritance really exists is still a mystery." Chapter 28:35. Did the inheritance really exist? Yi Han did not know if he should believe it, but since the family had sent him, he had to give it a try. He hoped he could do it with a clear conscience. "Let's see if we can find the missing map." Yes, that was the key. Yi Han clearly knew that without a complete map, it was almost impossible to find the succession of the Nine Heavens Supreme. If it could be found, the Yun family would have found it long ago. Why wait until now? The Yun family was unlucky. Emperor Yun brought Yun Shi to the soaring dragon realm instead of returning to the Yun family's residence. Looking at the six of them, Longao's expression was very serious. What was Emperor Yun trying to do? However, Longao immediately understood Emperor Yun's intentions. He was very grateful to Emperor Yun. If nothing went wrong, Emperor Yun was worried that the Ling family or the Yi family would come looking for trouble, especially his own family. But this time, both the Yi and Ling families had sent lower gods. If the six of them joined forces, it was unknown if they could break the seal of the cave abode. It was better to be safe than sorry. If the Ling and Yi families really broke the seal of the cave abode, it would be very troublesome. "Thank you, Emperor Yun. No need to be so polite." Looking at the young man in front of her, Yun Shi asked curiously, "This is?" "Miss, this is Qian Er's fiancé. When he refines the chaos tablet in his body and enters the chaos realm, I'm going to find a date for them to get married." "Fiancé? And he devoured the chaos tablet?" Yun Shi seemed a little surprised. After all, although Yun Qian had never returned to the family, she was still a member of the family. If nothing went wrong, it would not take long for everyone to return. She thought that Qian would look for him in the family. She did not expect that she had already done it in this galaxy. "Longao, this is our Yun family's Mississippi. She's very talented and is a peak lower god." Longao was very clear about the concept of a peak lower deity. She was infinitely close to a middle god. It could be said that among the lower gods, Yun Shi stood at the peak. "Hello, let's get to know each other. I'm Longao. I'm Yun Shi. I'll have to trouble you for the time being." "You are welcome." Currently, the soaring dragon realm was empty. Longao found a mountain peak in the middle of the realm. The environment was elegant, and the surroundings were magnificent. Cloud Emperor didn't mention that Longao could erase the seal of the cave abode. In the courtyard. "Uncle D, could it be that you want Longao to participate in our operation this time?" Yun Shi was very surprised. She had just dared to challenge Longao's strength. He had only refined half of the primal chaos stone tablet. In the vast universe, he might be the most powerful existence, but in the primal chaos realm, he was just an ordinary person. "Uncle D, you should know the importance of this operation." Yun Shi's expression was also very solemn. The task was difficult, and they could not be careless. Otherwise, if there was even the slightest mistake, all of them would die here. It was precisely because of this. Yunxi did not want to see any accidents. She said, "This time, the Ling family and the Yi family have sent 6 lower gods. Yi Han and Ling Ruai are both peak lower gods. If we go head-to-head, you know what it means. We have no chance of winning. If Longao follows us, he will be a burden to us." Yunxi did not continue. She respected Cloud Emperor, this senior of the family who had protected the universe for countless years. After all, this was not something that anyone could do. Forcefully staying in the universe would cause great harm to one's body. Even if Cloud Emperor could advance to become a middle god in the future, he would forever remain a middle god. Not to mention a higher god, even a peak middle god would not be able to touch him. She did not want to make it too serious. Even if Longao was Qian Er's fiancé, he had no right to participate in this operation. In fact, what Yunxi really wanted to say was that Longao did not have the right. Yunlu and the other two did not say much. Instead, it was Yun Qian who said, "Sister Yunxi, why do you look down on Longao? He is more outstanding than you think, much more outstanding." Yunxi had a good impression of Yun Qian. She could also see that Yun Qian was very talented. If she could forcefully bring her back to the family, Yun Qian might become a higher god in the future. Yunxi knew very well what a higher god meant to the family. No matter what, the 3 big families of Qinquan City, whether it was the Yi family, the Ling family, or the Yun family, all only had one higher god. No matter which family it was, if they could suddenly have one more higher god, they would definitely break the balance of power and suppress the other 2 big families. Yun Qian's talent was very important. This time, she personally came to the universe not only to find the inheritance, but also to forcefully bring Yun Qian out of the universe. However, Yun Qian had not become a lower god and could not leave normally. "Qian you should know that I have no objections to that Longao of your family. This time, the family sent me here because I want to be 100% sure. If we can find the sovereign's inheritance, not only in Qinquan City, but even in the Qinquan realm." As if she felt that she had said too much, Yunxi did not continue. After all, whether or not they could find the sovereign's inheritance was still unknown. "Sister Yunxi, I hope that Longao can participate. Not only will he not be a burden to us, he will even help us." "Qian you are too naive. Longao has not even truly refined the primal chaos tablet, much less become a lower god. If someone like him participates, he will definitely die." "Are you willing to see him die?" "Die?" Yun Qian was a bit hesitant. She did not want to obtain the inheritance. Instead, she wanted to let Longao follow Sister Yunxi and see if there were any opportunities. However, if he had to pay with his life, then it was a different matter. At this time, Emperor Yun said, "Miss, there is something you do not know." Since things had already come to this, Emperor Yun did not hide anything. He roughly explained the 2 primal chaos divine weapons in Longao's hands. Even he could not break them. This in itself showed how heaven-defying the primal chaos divine weapons in Longao's hands were. It was shocking. "According to what you said, the primal chaos divine weapons in Longao's hands are most likely from the sovereign's inheritance." Yunxi was pleasantly surprised. She did not expect things to take a turn for the better. Initially, she thought that there was no hope at all. She only wanted to bring Yun Qian and the others back to the family. If her guess was right, then finding the sovereign's inheritance was not something that she had hoped for. The more she thought about it, the more excited she became. Yunxi could not wait to find Longao and ask him about the origins of the 2 primal chaos divine weapons. Chapter 2836. "Miss, we can only be friends with Longao."
"Why?"
Emperor Yun was a wily old fox. Just by looking at Yunxi's expression, he could guess her intentions. She wanted to take Longao's chaos artifact and find a chance to steal the legacy she'd been searching for countless years. "I've already told you about Longao's situation. It wasn't easy for me to form an alliance with him. If," he waved his hand, Before Emperor Yun could continue, Yunshi suddenly smiled and said, "Don't worry, uncle.
Don't worry.
My family and I won't fall to such a state." Seeing that Yunshi didn't seem to be lying, the two heaved a sigh of relief. Whether Longao's chaos artifact comes from the legacy or not, he can still join us. But we won't let him touch the legacy.
Tell him for me.
Understood. Emperor Yun didn't tell Yunshi about Longao's true intentions. Because even if Yun Xian's talent was extraordinary, it wasn't up to them to decide if she wanted the legacy. If the family made the decision, the legacy would undoubtedly be given to the family's only high god. "Miss, what should we do next?" "Find the map." For simple words, but Emperor Yun and the others were extremely depressed. Finding the incomplete map was easier said than done. They'd searched for countless years and still hadn't found it. One word, difficult. Longao didn't stay with the others. Instead, he stayed outside the cave. If only the Chaos Palace could be separated from my body. He felt helpless. Even though he had gained some control over the Primal Chaos Hall, he was still unable to completely separate it from his elixir field. If that was the case, once the Yi and Ling families made their moves, it was unknown whether the cave-dwelling seal would be able to withstand them. What should he do? Longao would rather take the risk himself than the family. He had to refine the Chaos Tablet as soon as possible. But the remaining half would take at least tens of thousands of years. If he'd known this would happen, he would have stayed in the immortal world until he'd completely refined the Chaos Tablet. Longao had never imagined that there would be such a huge time difference between the immortal world and the vast cosmos he was in. If he hadn't experienced it himself, it would have been hard to believe. It was too late for regrets. The 6 demigods of the Yi clan and the Ling clan had all descended. Who knew if the 6 of them would point their spears at him? Caution is the parent of safety. "Longao, can I talk to you?" "I'm very willing." Longao was not surprised by Yunshi's sudden arrival because he had already guessed that Yunshi would definitely come looking for him. If he was right, Yunshi should already know that he possessed 2 chaotic divine artifacts. Chaos divine artifacts were also divided into different grades.
"I've heard about you."
"Do you want to hear about the Chaos Realm?"
"Please."
Although Cloud Emperor knew about the Chaos Realm, he had been away for so many years. There are a total of 99 heavens in the Chaos Realm. I believe Emperor Yun has already told you.
"Yes."
Yunshi smiled and continued, "Let me tell you about other things in the chaotic realm, such as alchemists, array masters, refiners, and talisman masters. The status of these people is far higher than ordinary warriors. Do you know why? Very rare." Longao had a general understanding of this matter. Alchemists were especially important in the immortal world's starry skies, but they were not worth much in his vast starry skies. As for the Chaos Realm, the alchemists, array masters, and talisman masters that Yunshi had mentioned were very popular. At the end of the day, it was because they were rare. You're very right. Perhaps in the starry skies, these so-called alchemists and array masters can easily reach a certain level, but in the Chaos Realm, there are far too few of them. Take the refiners, for example. Yunshi sighed. She lived in the Chaos Realm and naturally knew how rare array masters, refiners, and alchemists were. Even in Cosmos City, there were only a few of them. Array masters, refiners, talisman masters, and alchemists can be divided into beginner, intermediate, advanced, heaven, king, emperor, sovereign, and emperor levels. Longao did not speak. If it had been before, he indeed did not want to become an alchemist, array master, or talisman master. But it was different now. First of all, his 9-revolution chaos formula had been completely perfected. It had a very complete set of alchemy, array, talisman, and refiner techniques. Moreover, it was unique. After the 9-revolution, his achievements would certainly not be low. With such a foundation, how could he give up this opportunity? Secondly, even if he could master the chaos energy and become a lower god, his strength would only be at the lowest level when he entered the Chaos Realm. If he wanted to gain a foothold as soon as possible, alchemy, refining weapons, and array masters were still very important. I already know about your relationship with Qian Er. As for your chaos divine weapon, whether or not it is related to the inheritance, I will not snatch it. But I hope that you can help our Yun family. How about it? No problem. Without even thinking, Longao had already agreed. Before this, he had already promised Emperor Yun. However, Longao had already decided that if he could really find the inheritance, he would give it to Qian or no matter the price. Longao, with all due respect, with your strength, even if you are talented, it will be very difficult for you to gain a foothold in the chaos realm in a short time. In this case, the family will not allow you to be together with Qian Er. So, let me give you a piece of advice. Why don't you take the unconventional path? Other than cultivation, try to come into contact with other alchemy, array masters, and weapon refiners. Do you understand what I mean? If he still did not understand, Longao would really be a fool. He smiled and said, "Thank you for your reminder. I know what to do." Longao had a good impression of Yun Shi. If it was someone else who heard that he had two heaven-defying chaotic divine tools, it was obvious what they would do. Regardless of whether it was the Primal Chaos Axe or the Primal Chaos Palace, the temptation was too great. Miss Yun Shi. You can call me Sister Yun. Yun Shi actually looked down on Longao in her heart. However, since he was already together with Qian Er, she loved the house and its crow. After all, Yun Shi was very good to Qian Er and liked her very much. Sister Yun, I would like to ask. Since you already know that the map is incomplete, why are you still persisting? In the endless vast starry sky, no one knows where the lost map is. There is no point in continuing to search like this. How could Yun Shi not know what Longao meant? However, they did not dare to go against the family's decision. Chapter 28-37. Clan. Just 2 words. Yun Shi didn't say much. However, Longao already knew what Yun Shi meant. Even if there was no legacy in the universe, for the sake of the clan, they were willing to sacrifice themselves. He didn't say much. He was only responsible for helping the Yun clan. As for whether or not he was able to find them, that had nothing to do with him. There was still no news of Master God Diviner and Yi Dugu. For some reason, the two of them had suddenly disappeared without any warning. As for the others, they seemed to have learned about the Yi and Ling clans. They all went into closed-door training, hoping to be able to control primal chaos energy as soon as possible. Whether it was the Yi or Ling clans, the 6 people they sent out were all demigods. Any random demigod would be able to easily annihilate them. The universe wasn't the primal chaos realm. Demigods were invincible in the universe, but in the primal chaos realm, they were only slightly more powerful than ordinary people. During this period, Longao asked a few questions regarding the primal chaos realm, as well as the primal chaos steels. According to Emperor Yun, the primal chaos realm had countless primal chaos steels, and they all had different attributes. For example, there were lightning attribute primal chaos steels, 5 elemental chaos steels, wind attribute primal chaos steels, darkness attribute primal chaos steels, slaughter attribute primal chaos steels, etc. There were all sorts of primal chaos steels. All sorts of strange things. As for where these primal chaos steels came from, no one knew. If one was lucky enough to find their own primal chaos steels, then they would be able to devour them. Amongst them, primal chaos steels that were compatible with one's attribute were the best, as they would be able to go further. If they weren't compatible, then it would obviously affect their ability to advance. Primal chaos steels were indeed divided into different grades. They were ranked in order: elementary chaos steels, middle chaos steels, high chaos steels, heaven grade chaos steels, king grade chaos steels, emperor grade chaos steels, paragon grade chaos steels, and emperor grade chaos steels. However, the primal chaos steels that everyone had at the beginning were roughly the same. It could be said like this. If you devoured a middle chaos steel, then by the time you reached the god level from the middle chaos steel, you would still have to rely on yourself to continue training. As your cultivation level continued to rise, the primal chaos steals in your body would continue to rise as well. To complement each other. To help each other. If you improve, I will improve. It was a simple logic. Once a person devoured a primal chaos tablet, no matter what grade it was, they could not continue to devour other primal chaos tablets unless they died. As for the primal chaos stone tablets and increasing one's cultivation, there wasn't much of a relationship. The primal chaos stone tablets bestowed upon martial artists all sorts of elemental powers. For example, you've devoured the lightning primal chaos stone tablet, and with the lightning attribute, you can cultivate lightning martial skills, and you'll be able to achieve twice the results with half the effort. But if you devoured the lightning primal chaos stone tablet and wanted to cultivate martial skills of other attributes, then sorry, not only would you not be able to achieve twice the results with half the effort, you might even regress. In the end, the primal chaos stone tablets aren't that useful. He was helpless to the extreme. He did not continue to dwell on this issue. This was because Longao had obtained another secret, and that was alchemy. There were several types of pills that could help martial artists refine the primal chaos stone tablets even faster. Ever since he perfected the 9 revolution primal chaos mantra, Longao had been in the immortal world space. Other than refining the non-elemental primal chaos tablets, he had also been researching formations, alchemy, chi training, and talisman techniques. This was because he was very clear in his heart that maybe in a few tens of thousands of years, he would be able to step into the primal chaos world. At that time, if he wanted to gain a foothold, the fastest way would be to become a pill master, weapon master, talisman master, or weapon master. A shortcut. For a few tens of thousands of years, Longao had been researching alchemy, weapon refining, formations, and talisman techniques of the immortal world space. After 10,000 years, he had reached the peak, and all that was left was to increase the grade of the primal chaos world. However, the space was not the same as the primal chaos world. To become a level 1 pill master, array master, talisman master, or weapon master, the difficulty was countless times harder than in the primal chaos world. However, this was not a problem for Longao. Longao's 9 revolution primal chaos mantra. Ever since it was perfected, there were all sorts of classifications. Amongst them were alchemy techniques, weapon refining techniques, talisman techniques, and formation techniques. However, just having the mantra alone was not enough. He needed all sorts of alchemy recipes, talisman recipes, etc. He also needed all sorts of spiritual herbs to help Longao level up. It was a little too difficult. This is really heaven-defying. I heard Emperor Yun said that this pill that Yun Shi brought would only take a few days to help me refine the primal chaos stone tablet. I wonder if that's true. Such a pill was unheard of. Longao wanted to try refining it as well. However, he did not have the alchemy recipe nor the spiritual herbs. Just the alchemy technique alone was a little helpless. He did not continue thinking about it. Everything would wait until he entered the primal chaos world. At that time, as long as he could find the alchemy recipe and the spiritual herbs, he would be able to continuously refine pills and become a level 1 pill master. 3 days later, feeling the changes in his body, Longao was pleasantly surprised. It was as Emperor Yun had said. A small pill was able to help him refine the remaining half of the primal chaos stone tablet. If not for the help of the pill, he would need at least tens of thousands of years to refine the remaining half of the primal chaos stone tablet. For the current situation, this pill was just too important. Other people's primal chaos stone tablets that they devour all have their own attributes. They might be able to find the appropriate martial techniques. But I can't. The primal chaos stone tablet that I devour has no attributes. Seems like it's even more heaven-defying than the other primal chaos stone tablets. I can adapt to any martial technique. Longao smiled. He had already relied on the pill to refine the primal chaos stone tablet. However, to control the primal chaos stone tablet, pills alone were not enough. This was the most crucial step to becoming a lower god. Even in the primal chaos world, there were countless people who were stuck at this step, unable to control the primal chaos stone tablet and become a lower god. This step could only be described as difficult. Emperor Yun, is there anything you need from me? Seems like you've already refined the primal chaos stone tablet. I should tell you the rest.
What is it?
The reason why I did not tell you about the primal chaos stone tablet earlier was because I did not want to burden you too much. Now that you've refined it, I have a way to let you control the power within it in the shortest time possible.
Huh?
Hearing Emperor Yun's words, Longao was taken aback. He never would have thought that Emperor Yun would have such a method. It seemed that in the vast universe where he was, including the other galaxies, becoming a lower god was many times more difficult than it was in the primal chaos world. In the end, it was because no one told the people of the universe what to do.
Please speak.
The two of them found a place to sit down. Chapter 28:38. Now that all the primal chaos channels have been opened, all you need to do is head to the origin of primal chaos and try to use the primal chaos steel to communicate with it. So that's how it was. Longao already knew what Emperor Yun meant. Before, the 9 primal chaos channels had all been sealed, so no one had been able to enter, not even Master God Diviner. But now, things were different. All the channels had been opened. Even if he couldn't enter, he could still pick up some primal chaos energy. Using the primal chaos energy to sense the primal chaos energy within the primal chaos steel, he could then control it. This was the most direct method. Based on your talent, you'll need at most 3 years to succeed. 3 years? Should he be pleasantly surprised? Or helpless?
It was hard to say.
Because if he really did manage to control the primal chaos energy within the primal chaos steel within 3 years, then he would have to leave and head to the primal chaos world. What would happen to his family then? He couldn't bear to do so, and he couldn't be at ease. But Longao knew that he had to go to the primal chaos world. Not just him, but every cultivator in the universe had the same goal, to go to the primal chaos world and search for a higher level of martial arts. He seemed to be able to guess what Longao was thinking. Emperor Yun didn't say much. Longao, even if you can control the primal chaos steel within the primal chaos steel, you aren't a true demigod. You're only half a demigod. Without waiting for Longao to speak, Emperor Yun continued, only after you enter the primal chaos world and use the primal chaos steel to draw in the energy of heaven and earth and temper your body will you be considered a true demigod. I understand. In other words, no matter which universe it was impossible for a true demigod to be born. At most, one would be half a demigod. There was nothing he could do. Right now, the Ling and Yi families have already begun to move. I can almost guarantee that they will definitely act against you. So you have to follow us, especially the young miss. I'm not afraid. Indeed, Longao wasn't afraid. He had the Primal Chaos Palace, a heaven-defying spatial chaos artifact. So what if they were lower gods? He didn't believe that the 6 of them could break through his spatial chaos artifact. Longao, I know what you are thinking in your heart. However, you must not be careless. Even if the 6 of them know about this, they will only be greedy at most. It is not certain if they will act against you. Once they act against you, you must take out the spatial chaos stone tablet and let them see it. Even if they cannot do anything to you, as long as they spread the news to the primal chaos realm, by the time you enter the primal chaos realm, you'll be in endless trouble.
Sigh.
He felt helpless. Longao already knew what Cloud Emperor meant. Indeed, if the people of the primal chaos world knew about the primal chaos palace, he would have endless troubles in the future. Demigods might not be able to break through his primal chaos palace. Gods or high gods might not be able to break through his primordial chaos palace. But what about main gods, godly kings, or even godly emperors? Longao did not have the slightest bit of confidence. I know what to do. After this matter is settled, you must make arrangements for your family as soon as possible. Remember, as long as you head to the primal chaos realm and establish a firm foothold, your family will go to the primal chaos realm in the future. At this point, Cloud Emperor did not continue. However, the meaning behind his words was clear. Cloud Emperor left. Longao began to ponder. No matter what, the primal chaos realm was definitely more complicated and troublesome than he had imagined. Just as Cloud Emperor said, he had to head to the primal chaos realm as soon as possible to establish a firm foothold for his family. Otherwise, he wouldn't have done it. When his family went to the primal chaos realm in the future, not to mention the danger, there would not even be a place for them to stay. His fists were clenched tightly. Wait for me in the primal chaos realm. Yi family and Ling family did not bother about Longao for the time being because they had already found Long Mie and the others. They also knew that Longao had 2 primal chaos divine weapons. Although they were shocked, they did not take it to heart. Even if primal chaos divine weapons were strong, how strong could they be? The 6 of them had already decided that after settling the matter of the inheritance, they would snatch Longao's primal chaos divine weapons. This also gave Longao a chance to catch his breath. Primal Chaos Spring. Longao had been in the Primal Chaos Spring for 10 days. Finally, at the last moment, he had absorbed a trace of Primal Chaos Force. The next thing to do was to guide the Primal Chaos Force from the Primal Chaos Stone into his Dantian as soon as possible. Guiding the Primal Chaos Force from the Primal Chaos Stone into his Dantian was not an easy task. It would take at least 3 years, unless there was a fortuitous encounter. Back in the immortal world, Longao had already studied alchemy, weapon refining, formation, and talisman techniques to the peak. However, he still could not break through the first level of the Primal Chaos realm. He already had alchemy techniques, talisman techniques, weapon refining techniques, and formation techniques. Next, he would need various alchemy and talisman recipes. Without these, he would not be able to become a first-level alchemist, first-level weapon refiner, first-level talisman master, and first-level formation master. These were the foundations for him to enter the Primal Chaos realm. He was very anxious. Longao thought about it, and finally went to Yunxi. He went straight to the point and said, "Sister Yun, I have a presumptuous request. I hope you can agree to it." Because of Qian Yunxi treated Longao quite well. She nodded and said, "What is it? As long as I can help you, I will definitely help you." Yunxi thought that Longao would ask her to help the Soaring Dragon Empire because she already knew about the matter of dealing with the seal of the cave. However, the result was the same. "Sister Yun, I want to try alchemy, weapon refining, talisman refining, and formation techniques. However, I don't have any alchemy recipes, weapon refining recipes, talisman recipes, and formation techniques. I hope you can give me a few." He was very shocked. "You have never been to the Primal Chaos realm. It seems that you still don't understand the difficulty of these. Not to mention 4 together, you can't even succeed in any one of them. Otherwise, the alchemists, weapon refiners, talisman masters, and formation masters in the Primal Chaos realm are so rare. Even in our Qinquan city, the strongest is only a first-level alchemist and a first-level talisman master. I'm just trying. I'll study whichever one suits me and give up all those that don't suit me. In this way, when I enter the Primal Chaos realm in the future, I will at least have a foothold." Yunxi instantly understood what Longao meant. She thought that he was a very smart person. After all, if Longao entered the Primal Chaos realm, he might be killed before he could even complete his body tempering. If he could become an alchemist, talisman master, or weapon refiner, even if he was only a first-level one, he could live very well. At least in Qinquan City, he would be valued by the 3 major families. This was a matter of no doubt. There's no harm in telling you. After all, whether it's alchemy recipes, talisman recipes, or formation techniques, you can buy them everywhere in the Primal Chaos realm. Chapter 2839. He was shocked. Longao never thought that the chaotic realm didn't care about pill formulas, talisman formulas, and so on at all. According to Yunxi, the chaotic realm didn't care about the so-called pill formulas, talisman formulas, formations, and weapon refining at all. Because even if you knew whether you could become an alchemist, a weapon refiner, or a formation master was the biggest key. So what if you knew? Many years ago, I also tried to see if I could become an alchemist or a weapon refiner. Unfortunately, my talent was limited. At that time, I bought all the pill formulas, talisman formulas, and so on. I was young and ignorant at that time. Now, I'll give them all to you."
Saying that,
Yunshi took out 4 jade slips from the space ring. Needless to say, Longao knew what the 4 jade slips meant. Longao, because of I still have to remind you. If you really have talent in one of them, then assist in one of them. I understand. Among the 4, you can try formations and weapon refining first. There was a hidden meaning in her words. Longao didn't ask more because with the 4 jade slips, it wasn't a problem for him to become a level 1 alchemist, a level 1 array master, a level 1 talisman master, and a level 1 weapon refiner. The chaotic realm had spiritual herbs, and so did the vast starry sky. As for weapon refining, formations, and talisman master, Longao wouldn't miss any of them. The Yi family, Ling family, and Yun family were each looking for the incomplete map. Whoever found it first would be able to obtain the sovereign's inheritance first, and from there, suppress the other 2 great clans. A few months later, Yunshi urgently summoned everyone: Emperor Yun, Longao, Yun Lu, Yun He, and Yun Tian, a total of 6 people. As for Yun Qian, she was rejected. The reason was very simple. Yun Qian was the person the family wanted to bring back. There must be no accidents. Eldest Miss, what happened? Emperor Yun and the others were very curious. They didn't know what was going on. Was there a problem with the inheritance? Yunshi's face was very gloomy. She said, "Do you know Blood Demon?" Blood Demon? Longao was too familiar with Blood Demon. When he got the dragon seal, Blood Demon was sealed in it. And all these years, Blood Demon couldn't wait to tear him into pieces. What happened to the Blood Demon? Cloud Emperor immediately said, "Blood Demon swallowed the Chaos Stone tablet back then. He is one of the strongest people in this universe." Emperor Yun's curiosity was piqued. He did not know why young mistress suddenly mentioned Blood Demon. He suppressed the anger in his heart. "Uncle D, a message for you." He didn't want to blame Emperor Uncle. After all, Emperor Yun had stayed here for countless years for the sake of his family. He didn't care about his own health. Cloud Emperor was shocked because he had already guessed that the Blood Demon must have something to do with the inheritance. It seemed that he had been careless. Before Cloud Emperor could speak, Yunshi said, "I have received news that Yi Han has obtained the incomplete map that Blood Demon gave him. He has already determined the location."
Ah.
Upon hearing Yunshi's words, not to mention Emperor Yun and the rest, even Longao was a little shocked. This was because they had never thought that Blood Demon would have an incomplete map in his hands. It was truly unbelievable. If the Yi family really locked on to the specific location of the inheritance, then once the Yi family got the inheritance, there was no doubt that the Yi family would not only dominate Qinquan City, but also the entire black market heaven realm. The temptation of the legacy was too great. Emperor Yun sighed deeply. He felt even more guilty. He had guarded the map for countless years, but he had never thought that the incomplete map would be in Blood Demon's hands. If he had acted earlier, his family might have already gotten the inheritance. A mistake. She couldn't bear it. She said, "Uncle D, this is not your fault. We have to be alert all the time. As long as the Yi family acts, we will go immediately. This time, we must get the inheritance." Before she could finish speaking, she had already heard a spiritual sense transmission. "Wait for a moment. I will be back soon." She did not say much. She turned and left quickly. "Father, this is not our fault. If we had known that Blood Demon had an incomplete map, we would have acted long ago. Why wait until now?" Yunhee thought for a moment and said, "The most likely reason is that Blood Demon did not know that it was an incomplete map, so he did not take it seriously." Emperor Yun nodded and said, "No matter what, this is our mistake. If we did not get the inheritance, we would not be able to face the family, and would not have the face to return to the family." From the beginning to the end, Longao did not say a word. This was a family matter of the Yun family. He was just an outsider. Even if he had made his relationship with clear, he was still an outsider. An outsider was an outsider. Not only would he not gain anything from interfering, but he would also be disliked by Emperor Yun and the others. How could Longao do such a thankless thing? Longao, how much do you know about Blood Demon? Longao did not hesitate when he heard Emperor Yun's question. He told Emperor Yun about what had happened between him and Blood Demon. However, he did not tell Emperor Yun the details.
I see.
If I'm not mistaken, Blood Demon and the others should have followed the Yi family. The others should have followed the Ling family. It seems that we are in a passive position this time. Yunshi left for more than 6 hours before returning. She said directly, Yi Han just found me. He wants the 3 families to work together to explore the land of inheritance. As for who will get the inheritance, it will be up to the fated person. What do you think? Was the Yi family that kind? This was complete nonsense. Even if Longao was beaten to death, he would not believe that Yi Han would be so vast. Although he had not seen this genius of the Yi family, he could assert that no matter if it was the Yi family or the Ling family, they were determined to obtain the inheritance. Since that was the case, since they had already found the complete map, the Yi family could go and find the inheritance themselves. Why would they need to find the Ling family and the Yin family? He would not believe that there was nothing fishy about it. Miss, what does the Yi family want to do? According to my guess, although Yi Han has the complete map, he should have realized that the land of inheritance is not simple. If the Yi family goes alone, not only will they not be able to get the inheritance, they might even die there. If we work together, we have an 80% chance of entering. They had no choice. If there was any other chance, the Yi family would not do this. Under the alliance, the Yi family only had a 33% chance of getting the inheritance. What kind of concept was that? If they could not get the inheritance, then this search for the inheritance would be a gift to others. It was impossible for Yi Han to not know this. However, Yi Han still decided to work together with the Ling family and the Yun family. The biggest reason was that he did not want to die in the land of inheritance. Miss, I'm afraid that Yi Han might play tricks. We have to be careful. Chapter 2840.
Cheating?
How could Yunshi not know that Yi Han definitely had his own plans? However, for the sake of her family, for the sake of obtaining the inheritance, even if she knew that there was a mountain of knives and a sea of fire ahead, she still had to give it a try. High-level plane. I'm really unwilling. I've already obtained the complete map, but I still have to share it with the Yun and Ling families. Yi Han was furious to the extreme. If it wasn't for the fact that he had no other choice, he definitely wouldn't be willing to do this. Blood Demon and Dragon Annihilation had already submitted to Yi Han because they knew very well that if they didn't choose to submit, only death awaited them. Yi Han had already promised them that as long as this matter was completed, they could follow Yi Han and use a secret method to forcefully return to the Yi family. They yearned for the Chaos Realm too much. If they went to the Chaos Realm alone, they could imagine what would happen. If they could join the Yin family, they would be able to gain a foothold. As for the incomplete map, even Blood Demon himself would never have thought that the incomplete map he obtained back then was actually the inheritance map. At that time, he didn't care. After joining Yi Han's team, Blood Demon accidentally saw Yi Han looking at the incomplete map in his hand and suddenly realized that he had also obtained such a map back then. The combination of the two was the complete map. Obtaining the complete map was equivalent to finding the exact location of the inheritance. How could he not be excited? How could he not be excited? But in the end, just as Yi Han was filled with excitement and prepared to secretly head to the location indicated on the map to obtain the inheritance alone, he suddenly realized that things weren't as simple as he thought. According to the map, there was a passage in the land of inheritance that couldn't be opened by just 3 lower gods. At least 7 lower gods would be needed to open it. In other words, he had to join forces with the Yun and Ling families to open the passage. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to step into the land of inheritance, let alone obtain the so-called inheritance. How could he be willing? How could he not be angry? Once the Yun and Ling families also stepped into the land of inheritance, then the inheritance wouldn't be something that he could obtain. If the inheritance was obtained by the other two families, the consequences would be obvious. Even he couldn't accept such an outcome. So, what if he wasn't willing? Did he really have to give up the land of inheritance? Even if he was willing, his family wouldn't be willing. Sir, even if the Yun and Ling families step into the land of inheritance, they might not be able to obtain the inheritance. I have a way to gain an advantage.
Speak.
Yihan was quite satisfied with Dragon Annihilation and Blood Demon. Not only were the two of them talented, but they were also very good in other aspects. It was because of this that he intended to bring them back to the family to nurture them. If the two of them were able to become gods in the future, it would be a good choice for the clan. Sir, we have the complete map. We won't allow them to see it when the time comes. In that case, even if they enter the land of inheritance, what can they do? What did that mean? Yihan did not understand what the blood demon was trying to say. The map could only lead them to the exact location of the land of legacy. However, Yihan was no fool. Since Bloodseeker had said so, he must have his reasons. It would be best if he could kill everyone from the Yin family and the Ling family at the same time, except for Ling Ruoyi. This was because Yihan knew that both the Ling family and the Yun family had sent out their most talented disciples. If they died here, it would be a great loss to the two families. My lord, I've been studying this map for the past few days and discovered a problem. Hurry up and say it. Hearing Blood Demon's words, Yihan was somewhat impatient. If he could discover something from the map, he would be more confident about going to the land of inheritance. If he could get the inheritance of the Supreme Being, he would be able to conquer the Blackstone Heavenly region, let alone Qianquan City. Just thinking about it made him excited. Looking at the map on the table, Blood Demon smiled and said, "According to my guess, if nothing goes wrong, this map can not only help us to locate the location of the inheritance, but it can also lead us to the real land of inheritance." Blood Demon used his spiritual consciousness to tell Yihan the secret that he had discovered. The other two from the Yi family did not think much about it. However, Long Miao was furious. What a blood demon! Even though he had already submitted to the Yi family, facing the temptation of the inheritance, even Long Miao was not willing to give it up. If he could get the inheritance, even if he stepped into the chaotic realm, he would not have to join the Yi family. Perhaps the Yi family would have to rely on him then. However, Blood Demon was obviously sucking up to Yihan. Using his spiritual consciousness, he could not possibly know what the two of them were talking about. Ha ha, ha ha ha, ha ha ha. He laughed crazily and his laughter was filled with endless excitement and excitement. Blood Demon, when this is done, follow me back to the family. I will definitely let the family train you to break through the peak of lower god and become a middle god as soon as possible.
Thank you, sir.
No one noticed that a cold light flashed in Blood Demon's eyes. However, it was just a flash and no one noticed it. In another high-level realm, Ling Ruoyi's face was also very serious. She was not excited at all because Yihan invited her to go to the land of inheritance. Because Ling Ruoyi knew very well that Yihan was not so kind. Who knew what Yihan was up to? At this time, Ling Xiu suddenly stood up and said, "Sister, no matter what Yihan's purpose is, we have to go to the land of inheritance. If the inheritance is obtained by the Yi family, then we will be in a very passive position." Yes, I know. But Yihan's purpose of inviting us should be that he can't open the passage to the land of inheritance alone. However, we do not have a complete map. This time, I have a bad feeling about entering the land of inheritance. What was wrong with Sister? Looking at Sister in front of them, both Ling Xiu and Ling Chung were very curious. Sister was never like this, especially when it came to important matters. She was very decisive. Sister, are we going to give up? We can't give up. You're right. We can't let the Yi family get the inheritance. And we have to get the inheritance too. This is the best time for our family to rise. We can't miss it. Otherwise Ling Ruoyi, will be the sinner of the Ling family. So will all of you. Ling Ruoyi's words were very serious. However, as a member of the Ling family, she knew very well what they should do. Just like Yunxi, they knew that there were dangers ahead, but they still wanted to go to the land of inheritance. Chapter 2841. 3 days later. Yi family, Ling family, Yun family, and other outsiders gathered at Jianling Mountain. Looking at Shuema and Longmi standing behind Yihan, Longao already knew that the two of them had already joined the Yi family. As for Ling family, they were more powerful than Yi family. They had recruited 5 people, namely Tian Dao, Yi Mei, Long Ming, Ruo Mu, and Luo Mu. Seeing Ruo Mu and Luo Mu, Longao was a little surprised. He thought the two of them would not be willing to participate in the fight, so they chose to cultivate in seclusion until they mastered the power of chaos and entered the chaotic realm. But after thinking about it, he understood. If they could find a backer like Ling family, once they were forcefully brought into the chaotic realm, they would have a stable position. For these lower gods, Long Mia, and the rest were insignificant. If not for the fact that these people were talented, Yihan and Ling Ruai would not even look at them. She wanted to recruit them, but after hearing Emperor Yun's words, she gave up. The reason was simple. Longao had a grudge against these people. There was no need to make Qian unhappy because of these people. After all, Qian talent was obvious. If she could return to her family, it would mean a lot. Yihan, shouldn't you copy the complete map for us? Yun family had copied the map. Under normal circumstances, since Yi family had the complete map, they should copy it too. Ling Ruai said, Yunxi is right. Since we are in an alliance, you should copy the complete map. Everyone gets a copy. This is fair. No problem, but I want the original map in Yunxi's hands. Only then can I copy the complete map. Impossible. The more Yihan acted like this, the more Yunxi felt that something was wrong. Was there something wrong with the map? Just as Yunxi thought, there was something wrong with the map. This was Blood Demon's idea. First, he had to get the original map. Otherwise, everything would be empty talk. Yihan smiled and said coldly, I am the only one who has the complete map. If not for the fact that the 3 big families are in Qingqun City, I would not have formed an alliance with you. No one would believe him. Of course, Yunxi and Ling Ruai would not believe Yihan. If he could take it for himself, Yihan would run faster than anyone else. If that's the case, then our alliance ends here. Yihan left without giving Yunxi any time to think. I'll give it to you. Yunxi handed over the original map. Yihan did not hesitate and immediately made 2 copies of the complete map. He gave one to Ling Ruai and the other to Yunxi. Yihan was extremely excited. He had finally obtained the complete original version of the map. This time, the inheritance was his and did not belong to the Ling family or the Yun family. He laughed maniacally in his heart. Yunxi's expression was extremely gloomy. If it wasn't a last resort, she wouldn't be willing to hand over the original map because her intuition told her that Yihan was definitely up to something. Ling Ruai did not say much. Although she knew that Yihan was up to no good, there was nothing they could do since the map was in Yihan's hands. You could say that. At this moment, Yihan had completely taken the initiative. Regardless of whether it was the Yun family or the Ling family, they were all too passive. Endure. She had to endure. After Ling Ruai and Yun she received the map, they finally realized that something was wrong. It was not that Yihan was being kind and wanted to share the land of inheritance with them. It was because according to the map, they had to open the passage to enter the land of inheritance. It was impossible to open the passage with just the 3 of them. Only if there were more than 7 lower gods could they open the passage and enter the land of inheritance. Yunxi and Ling Ruai looked at Yihan. They were extremely angry. However, it was not the right time for them to strike. They had spent so much effort to come to the starry sky. It was not to deal with Yihan and the others. It was for the land of inheritance. The only way to obtain the inheritance was to obey the decree. Senior Emperor Yun, you better remind Sister Yun that there is something fishy about this. If I'm not wrong, the original complete map can not only lock the exact location of the land of inheritance, but also allow one to enter the land of inheritance and obtain the inheritance.
Ah,
Emperor Yun did not think about this. He had always thought that Yi Han wanted the original map to show off the Yi family's arrogance. He did not expect this to be the case. Now that he thought about it, it was true. Otherwise, Yi Han would not give up on entering the land of inheritance to obtain the original complete map. It was too fishy. Emperor Yun did not dare to be careless. He immediately came to Yunxi's side and told her what he was worried about through his spiritual sense. Yunxi was furious. However, she had already handed over the original map. It was obviously unrealistic to ask Yi Han for it now. Without the help of Yi Han and the other two, they would not be able to open the passage and enter the land of inheritance. Wait and see. Once we enter the land of inheritance, if there are any changes, immediately kill Yi Han and the rest. Understood. Yi Han was very excited when he received the original complete map. It was as if he could already see himself obtaining the inheritance. He smiled and said, Yunxi, Ruai, since no one has any objections, let's not delay and head to the land of inheritance immediately. Since things had already turned out this way, neither Yunxi nor Ling Ruai could object. No matter what Yi Han wanted to do, they had to go to the land of inheritance. If they did not even go, wouldn't Yi Han be taking advantage of them? Longao had only seen the incomplete map. As for the complete map, he did not know where the land of inheritance was. Among the crowd, only Yunxi, Ling Ruai, Yi Han, and Blood Demon knew. The rest could only follow. Everyone's speed was extremely fast. After all, everyone was incomparably excited at the thought of entering the land of inheritance. As for the inheritance, it wasn't something that could be obtained just because you were strong. The more powerful the inheritance or treasure, the more it would be obtained by the fated person. Everyone was clear about this point in their hearts. Because of this, Luo Mu and the rest were also looking forward to it. If they could obtain the inheritance, they would not have to wag their tails like dogs. By then, even if they did not join the Yun family, they would still be able to survive in the chaotic realm. Longao, when we enter the land of inheritance, don't leave me. I will protect you. Longao knew very well why Yunxi was doing this. If it were not for Yunxi would not care about his life or death. However, Longao did have a good impression of Yunxi. She was not like the other families, such as Yi Han and Ling Ruai, who were aloof. Chapter 2842. Thank you. I'm doing this for Qian's sake.
I hope you won't disappoint me.
Longao didn't say anything. No matter what price he had to pay, he had to get the inheritance and give it to Tianwu continent? Looking at the plain in front of them, not only Longao, but even Emperor Yun and the others were shocked. They had never thought that the inheritance would be Tianwu continent. What was going on? According to Blood Demon, there is a chaos channel in Tianwu continent. Remember, don't destroy it. Otherwise, if the chaos channel collapses, we will all die here. Everyone chose to ignore Yi Han. Everyone was very clear about what Yi Han had just said. The chaos channel couldn't withstand a battle between lower gods. Once it collapsed, the starry sky crack would devour everyone, and even those at the peak of the low-level deity stage were no exception. Everyone was excited to enter Tianwu continent. As for Longao, his heart was heavy because he thought of a key point, and that was the clairvoyant. There were 9 great chaos sources in the vast universe, which were the 9 chaos channels. It was impossible that the clairvoyant didn't know. If that was the case, why would the clairvoyant guard Tianwu continent and a chaos channel? It didn't make sense. There must be something fishy. The clairvoyant wasn't simple. Even Emperor Yun said so. According to the map, the inheritance was at the bottom of a mountain in Tianwu continent. It was very hidden and there wasn't even an ant, let alone a person. In such a desolate place, it was hard to find if one didn't pay attention. Moreover, how many people would think that this was the inheritance left behind by a supreme expert? If other people in the vast universe knew about it, Long Mia and the others wouldn't wait for the three great families to come. The inheritance is in front. According to the map, at least 7 lower gods are needed to break open the channel. Besides Yunlu, there are 8 of us. We should be able to do it. I have no problem too. The 3 great families came for the inheritance. It wasn't easy to find this place. How could they choose to give up so easily? Even if the 3 great families had any grudges, they had to endure it in front of the inheritance. The legacy was more important. Yun Shi and her companions, Yi Han and his 2 companions, Ling Ruai and her 2 companions, a total of 8 lower gods. Among them, there were 3 peak lower gods. All of them took dozens of steps forward. He stared at the mountain peak in front of him. The 8 of them followed the instructions on the map and activated it with all their might. Boom, 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 boom. The sound shook heaven and earth. It's open. Everyone looked at the passageway that had suddenly appeared in front of them. They were truly curious. Wasn't this passageway a little too easy to open? So easy that it was a little too strange. However, in front of the inheritance, no one would consider so much. Yi Han was the first to step into the passageway. The rest of the people didn't dare to hesitate and immediately followed in a single file. Not long after, everyone had successfully entered the passageway. Looks like we've made things simple. If I'm not mistaken, we still haven't entered the true legacy ground. There was no need for Yun Shi to say anything. The others understood what was going on very well. He had thought that the passageway had been opened too easily, but it turned out that the real passageway had not been opened yet. The 8 demigods didn't hesitate in the slightest, immediately reactivating it. The land of inheritance was right in front of them, and no one could wait any longer. Except for Longao. He stood at the back of everyone, looking at the ball of white light in front of him. He didn't know why, but he felt that the land of inheritance was a little strange. The fact that the 8 demigods could open the passageway was already an incredible thing. Could it be that the passageway didn't require the help of a key to open? This was what Longao felt was the most strange. As expected, just as Longao had guessed, the 8 demigods had joined forces and attacked the ball of white light continuously. However, it was like a stone sinking into the sea. There wasn't even a single ripple. What was going on? Everyone was completely stunned. They had thought that it would be easy to enter the land of inheritance, but they didn't expect to be blocked by a ball of white light at this time. Even if the 8 demigods joined forces, they couldn't break it open. Everyone's expression was very ugly, especially Yi Han. He had already seen that not only had he obtained the inheritance, but he had also killed everyone from the Yun family and the Ling family, except for Ling Ruoi.
But now?
Not to mention obtaining the inheritance, whether they could even enter the land of inheritance was still unknown. Blood Demon. What should we do now? Yi Han had already treated Blood Demon as one of his own, and he was even the military advisor. As for Long Mia, he was extremely depressed. He and Blood Demon had joined Yi Han at the same time, but Blood Demon was put in an important position, and he was useless. Long Mia knew very well that even if he was talented, if he was useless to Yi Han, he might be killed by Yi Han, let alone entering the Yun family and establishing a foothold in the Chaos Realm. Before Blood Demon could speak, Long Mia immediately said, "Young master, according to my guess, we can't just have the map. We need to find the key." Key? Long Mia wasn't the only one who thought of it. Everyone else thought of it at the same time. Besides the key, there was no way to open the land of inheritance. Not to mention the 8 demigods joining forces. Even the 8 demigods might not be able to open the passageway. However, no one knew where the key was. At this moment, the white ball of light suddenly released a ball of white light, slowly converging into an illusory white figure. At a glance, it was very ethereal and blurry, and one couldn't see the face clearly. One could only know that it was a man, and a burly man at that. Welcome everyone to my land of inheritance. However, if you want to enter the land of inheritance, you must first find the key to open the land of inheritance. As for the key, at this point, The white figure thought for a moment, paused, and continued, "If you want to open the land of inheritance, you must find 3 keys. Let me give you a hint. The 3 keys are all in this plane, and all of them are the blood of spiritual beasts." Blood of spiritual beasts? No one would think that the spiritual beasts mentioned by the white figure were space mythical beasts. They must be spiritual beasts from the chaos realm. As for what level they were, they didn't know. However, there were too many spiritual beasts in the Tianwu continent. How could they lock onto them? If the spiritual beasts deliberately hid their aura, even they wouldn't be able to find them. As if he could guess what everyone was thinking, the white figure smiled strangely and said, "Thunder Fire Lion, Black Gold Ape, Divine Phantom Eagle." Chapter 2843. Thunder Fire Lion, Black Gold Ape, Divine Phantom Eagle. Senior, may I ask what level these spiritual beasts are? The level was too important. If the 3 spiritual beasts were of the middle god level, they would choose to give up. It was like throwing an egg against a rock if they wanted to fight against the middle god level spiritual beasts. The white figure did not say anything and gradually disappeared. In the next second, everyone from the 3 families quickly left the passage. If they wanted to enter the land of inheritance, they had to get the blood of the 3 spiritual beasts. Although the white figure did not say it clearly, they knew very well that they could not do without the blood of any spiritual beasts. If they could find the blood of the 3 spiritual beasts by themselves, it meant that they could enter the land of inheritance alone.
Speed.
Luck. Strength. The Tianwu plane is not too big. My primordial spirit has covered the entire plane, but I did not find any trace of the 3 spiritual beasts. Yun Shi's face was very ugly. Emperor Yun said, "Miss, if I am not wrong, the 3 spiritual beasts should be hiding their aura and sleeping. Otherwise, how could the clairvoyant and Yi Duga not find any trace of the 3 spiritual beasts after so many years?" Yun Shi nodded. If the white figure did not say it, they would not believe that there would be spiritual beasts from the chaotic world in such a small plane. Yun Shi did not know if Yi Han and Ling Ruai could find the 3 spiritual beasts. The Yun family could not lose. They could not afford to lose. What do you think we should do now? It was difficult to find the 3 spiritual beasts in the Tianwu plane without using the primordial spirit to detect their aura. Who knew where the 3 spiritual beasts were hiding? Emperor Yun and Yun Lu shook their heads helplessly. Although they had been guarding the starry sky for so many years, they knew nothing about the Tianwu plane. At this moment, Yun Shi looked at Longao behind her and asked, "What about you?" "Although I was born in the Tianwu plane, I left when I reached the starry sky realm."
But
what? Yun Shi was anxious. No matter what the clues were, as long as she could help the Yun family get the inheritance, she would do anything. Emperor Yun and Yun Lu were also anxious. They seemed to think that Longao already knew. They did not care. How could Longao not know what the Yun family was thinking? The inheritance was of great importance. No matter which clan obtained it, they would be able to suppress the other 2 clans in the future.
not only that,
Although he still did not know what kind of expert had left behind the inheritance, according to Yun Shi, the inheritance in the starry sky was very likely to be the inheritance of a god king. Divine king's inheritance, what kind of concept was that? Godly kings had supreme strength and status in the chaos realm. The domain lords of the 33 lower heaven domains were all godly king-level characters. From this, one could imagine what a godly king meant. No wonder the Yun family was so nervous. No wonder the 3 great clans were so nervous. If he could obtain the divine king's inheritance, he would have an 80% chance of becoming a divine king. At that time, not only would he be able to dominate Qianquan City, he would also be able to conquer the entire Blackstone heavenly region. If it wasn't for Longao definitely wouldn't have participated in this matter. However, all of this was for Qian. If Qian could obtain the inheritance of the God King and become a God King, it would be a good thing. The Outer Sea. Longao didn't know whether his guess was correct or not, but his intuition told him that the outer sea was definitely not normal. The godly diviner couldn't have suffered for so many years for a primal chaos channel. There had to be some secret that outsiders didn't know about. Could it be that the godly diviner had remained on the martial heaven continent for the god king's inheritance? That shouldn't be the case. Since the godly diviner knew that the martial heaven continent had the god king's inheritance, then he definitely had the map. Since that was the case, why hadn't he made a move yet? The three great clans had ascended on the martial heaven plane at the same time, but the godly diviner and Yidogu had disappeared. Wasn't that too much of a coincidence? The outer sea? Yundi immediately said, "Young miss, according to what I know, the godly diviner has been guarding the martial heaven continent for so many years, especially the crystal palace in the outer sea."
I see.
Let's go. Yunshi wasn't willing to give up on any clues. In any case, she didn't have the slightest clue. She might as well go to the outer sea to take a look. The three great clans. Whether it was Yihan, Yunshi, or Lingruoi, they had already decided that if the three great spiritual beasts were lower gods, they would take the risk and try. If the three great spiritual beasts were mid-gods, they would leave immediately. Even if they wanted to obtain the god king's inheritance, so what? Their lives were more important. The outer sea. The current outer sea was no longer the same as before. Ever since the previous incident, the godly diviner had destroyed the entire martial heaven continent. Longao felt very guilty because if it wasn't for him, the martial heaven continent wouldn't have fallen to such a state. He felt deeply guilty, but since things had already come to this, Longao didn't continue to dwell on this issue. In the Crystal Palace, there wasn't a single person in it. As soon as Yunshi arrived, she immediately released her powerful primordial spirit and began to cover the entire Crystal Palace, even the entire outer sea. She hoped to find the three great spiritual beasts, even if it was just one of them. As long as she could obtain the blood of one of the spiritual beasts, the Yun clan would have full confidence in entering the inheritance ground. The reason was very simple. Even if the other two clans could obtain the blood of the other spiritual beasts, without her own blood, they wouldn't be able to open the passage. Because of this, Yunshi couldn't wait to obtain a spiritual beast.
No. Yes.
Just as Yunshi said no, Longao said yes. Everyone looked at Longao curiously. Could it be that Longao's primordial spirit was stronger than Yunshi's? That was complete nonsense. Yunshi wasn't just a low god, she was a peak low god. As for Longao, he had only just refined the primal chaos tablet. He hadn't even become a half-step low god. In other words, his primordial spirit was definitely weaker than Yunshi's. Let alone Longao, even Emperor Yun's primordial spirit wasn't on the same level as Yunshi's. However, Yunshi didn't care at all. She immediately asked, "Where is it?" "Everyone, follow me." Longao truly wasn't a low god. Under normal circumstances, his primordial spirit wouldn't be stronger than Yunshi's. However, in front of a freak like Longao, the situation was completely different. Ever since his primordial spirit had transformed, Longao's primordial spirit had become so powerful that it was comparable to Yunshi's. It might even be stronger. This was the true reason why Longao could sense the presence of a chaos spiritual beast. As for which chaos spiritual beast it was unknown. Chapter 2844. The outer sea was boundless. The area of the outer sea was much larger than the land. But to everyone, whether it was the outer sea or the land, it was all the same. On an island in the outer sea. Longao, you said the spiritual beast is here? Yes, my intuition tells me that it should be here. Intuition? Longao actually relied on intuition. Yunshi was also a little doubtful, but she had no clue at the moment. She could only wait and see if Longao's intuition was right. She hoped it was. Longao, are you able to sense who the spirit beast here is? Thunderfire Lion, Black Gold Ape, Divine Phantom Eagle. Thunderfire. Longao could vaguely sense a trace of Thunderfire aura. If there is no accident, the spiritual beast here should be the so-called Thunder Fire Lion. Very surprised, Longao could even sense what spiritual beast it was. Didn't that mean that Longao's primordial spirit was very powerful? It had even surpassed a lower god? How was that possible? No one said anything. They were skeptical because no one knew whether Longao was telling the truth or not. Longao didn't care at all. Soon, everyone arrived outside a valley. Looking from afar, the valley was surrounded by purple mist with traces of fire. There was no need to ask. Yunxi and the others already knew. If there was no accident, Longao's intuition should be correct. The Thunder Fire Lion of the three spiritual beasts. But even so, Yunxi and the others weren't excited at all. Because in their opinion, the strength of the Thunder Fire Lion was still a mystery. If the Thunder Fire Lion was only a lower god, then there was no doubt that Yunxi, Yunlu, and Emperor Yun were enough to kill the Thunder Fire Lion and take its blood essence. If the Thunder Fire Lion was a middle god or a higher god, then there was no doubt that they could kill it and take its blood essence. They could just turn around and kill it. To contend against a god or a high god was simply an impossible task. First, he wanted to ascertain the strength of the Thunder Fire Lion in the valley. Longao, I want to ask you, is your primal spirit strong enough to surpass the primal spirit of a demigod? Of course, Longao knew what Yunxi meant. He smiled. Of course, Longao would not tell Yunxi his secret. Instead, he said, back then, when I was in a life and death situation, my essence soul underwent a mutation, so, at this point, Longao did not continue. Yunxi and the others nodded. Of course, they already knew what Longao meant. His primordial spirit mutated. It seemed like Longao's primordial spirit wasn't very powerful, but it had some special abilities, such as sensing the existence of the Thunder Fire Lion. Whether it was a good thing or a bad thing was still unknown. All of you, be careful. If the Thunder Fire Lion is truly a god or a high god, we have to leave immediately. Everyone nodded to show that they understood. He didn't want to give up. The Thunder Fire Lion was right in front of them. If they could successfully kill it and absorb its essence blood, then entering the land of inheritance would be a sure thing. Yunxi took the lead, followed by Emperor Yun, Yunlu, Yunhe, Yuntian, and finally Longao. It could be seen that whoever was the weakest would be the last to leave. Longao didn't care about this at all. Among the group, he was indeed the weakest. However, he knew very well that if it was a real battle, apart from Yunxi and Emperor Yun, the other three would definitely not be his match.
There was no doubt about that.
Everyone was very nervous. They all stared at the valley in front of them. Although they were moving very slowly, in just a few minutes, they had all entered the valley. Purple mist lingered, and there were flames everywhere. There was a terrifying aura that enveloped everyone. A lower god, just one step away from the peak. Previously, she wasn't very sure. However, after entering the valley, Yunxi was 100% sure that the Thunder Fire Lion in the valley was only a lower god, not a god, nor a high god. The Thunder Fire Lion hadn't even reached the peak of a lower god. Such a spiritual beast should be more than enough for them to deal with. Yunxi was extremely surprised. If the Thunder Fire Lion was really that powerful, they wouldn't have the slightest bit of worry. It wouldn't be difficult to kill the Thunder Fire Lion. As long as they could kill the Thunder Fire Lion and extract its essence blood, they would be able to enter the land of inheritance even if they couldn't obtain the essence blood of the other two spiritual beasts. If they could kill the three spiritual beasts and extract their essence blood, then the other two clans wouldn't have anything to do with it. Yunxi wasn't a kind person. If her clan could enter the land of inheritance alone, that would be the best thing that could happen. How could everyone not know what Yunxi was thinking? Lower god? Just as everyone was about to go deeper, a voice suddenly sounded around the valley. It was obvious that it was the Thunder Fire Lion's voice. Although Yunxi didn't care much about the Thunder Fire Lion, she didn't let her guard down. No matter what, the other party was still a lower god level Thunder Fire Lion. Moreover, it was the key to entering the land of inheritance. Who knew if there was something fishy going on? In the next second, The purple mist in front of them instantly disappeared without a trace, and a huge monster appeared in front of them. Looking at it, everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. This was a huge wild lion. Its entire body was purple, and there were traces of fire flowing around it. It was the Thunderfire wild lion. Looking at the huge creature in front of him, Emperor Yun's expression changed. He exclaimed, "You're not an ordinary Thunderfire lion. You're the king of the Thunderfire lion tribe. You. Others might not know what a king meant, but how could Yun Shi and Emperor Yun not know? Although the king of the Thunderfire lion tribe wasn't a middle god or upper god, or even a lower god, no one would underestimate the strength of the Thunderfire lion. Even a middle god wouldn't dare to be careless. The king of the Thunderfire lion possessed the power of thunder and fire. It was too terrifying. Yun Shi and the others retreated and prepared to leave. They would wait until they returned to the clan and see what the clan would do. It would be best if they could send a middle god. Previously, they didn't know if there really was a land of inheritance, so the clan didn't dare to risk sending a middle god. After all, a middle god was too important to the Yun clan. However, as if she thought of something, Yun Shi stopped abruptly. She stared at the Thunderfire lion in front of her and said, "For the clan, I can sacrifice everything. Longao, you're not a member of the Yun clan. Leave this place first. Remember, you must protect Qian-er. If there's a chance in the future, bring Qian-er to Qianquan City." Chapter 28:45. How could Long Ao not know what Yun Shi meant? Long Ao shook his head and said, "I'll leave you behind to help you." Yun Shi seemed to want to say something, but Emperor Yun said, "Then I'll have to trouble you." Yun Shi was very curious, not knowing what Emperor Yun meant. Even though Long Ao had already refined the Chaos Tablet, he had not really become a lower god. Staying behind would only lead to death. Just with the Chaos Divine weapon in his hand? That was utter nonsense. But Yun Shi did not continue to say anything because at this moment, the Thunderfire lion was clearly angry. Terrifying Thunderfire instantly enveloped the entire valley. "Trespassing into my forbidden area. All of you must die. Attack with all your might." Finally, it was clear that if they did not attack with all their might, once the Thunderfire lion gained the initiative, they would definitely die. Yun Shi and Emperor Yun attacked from the front and back. As for Long Ao and the other two, they circled behind the Thunderfire lion, preparing to attack from all sides. Ha 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 ha, laughed maniacally. How could the Thunderfire lion take Yun Shi and the others seriously? It was a complete joke. As a peak lower god, Yun Shi's strength was needless to say. When she collided with the Thunderfire lion, Yun Shi's body flew out like a kite with a broken string. Catch! Yun Tian and Yun He were already entangled with the Thunderfire lion, but the two of them did not dare to meet force with force. Because if the Thunderfire lion wanted to, it only needed one move to destroy them. The two of them had never entered the Chaos Realm, so they had not really become lower gods. Long Ao took a big step forward and protected Yun Shi. Under normal circumstances, the Thunderfire lion was no match for Yun Shi. But the Thunderfire lion in front of them was the king of the Thunderfire lion tribe. Although it had not reached the peak of lower god, its strength was not to be underestimated. Long Ao was a little shocked. The Thunderfire lion could actually meet force with Yun Shi. The Thunderfire lion is heavily injured. This is the best time to get rid of it. Yun Shi was indeed a peak lower god. She did not attack to kill the Thunderfire lion, but to test the Thunderfire lion's true strength, to see if it was as strong as the legend said it was. A pleasant surprise. This was definitely a pleasant surprise. Upon hearing Yun Shi's words, not only Long Ao, but even Emperor Yun and the others were overjoyed. They had never thought that the Thunderfire lion would be severely injured. They were really lucky. Yun Shi was not injured. She was also very surprised. This time, no one was polite or worried. If they couldn't even take care of an injured Thunderfire lion, they wouldn't have the qualifications to enter the land of inheritance. Everyone knew very well that the danger of the Thunderfire Lion was nothing compared to the danger of the Land of Inheritance. The Thunderfire Lion did not expect that there would be a peak lower deity among the crowd. If he was at his peak, he wouldn't be afraid at all. But now, the situation was obviously different. Back then, for some reason, the Thunder and Fire Lion had been severely injured. Even after recuperating for so many years, he still had not made any progress. If it were just Emperor Yun and the others, the Thunder and Fire Lion might not care. However, with a peak lower celestial, it would be difficult for him to deal with them this time. Thinking of someone trying to kill it while it was heavily injured, the Thunderfire Lion couldn't help but feel furious. Anger turned into murderous intent. Yun Shi and the Thunderfire Lion fought head-on. Among the crowd, only Yun Shi could fight the Thunderfire Lion head-on. As for the others, they were attacking from all sides. Ahs. The Thunderfire Lion had been hit consecutively. It was already heavily injured. Now, it could be said that it was injured on top of its injuries.
Crack.
The Thunderfire Lion's left leg was broken. Its angry roar resounded throughout the valley. Despicable and shameless humans. Even if I die, I won't do as you wish. He's going to self-destruct.
Quick.
Everyone's expression changed when they saw that the Thunderfire Lion was going to self-destruct. Even if the Thunderfire Lion was heavily injured, its strength was still there. Once it self-destructed, everyone would die, including Yun Shi. Longao also knew what it meant for the Thunderfire Lion to self-destruct. No matter what price they had to pay, they couldn't let the Thunderfire Lion self-destruct. Otherwise, everyone here would die. No one would be left alive. In the battle just now, except for Longao, everyone else had used all their strength to deal with the Thunderfire Lion. It could be said that all of them were seriously injured. Only Longao wasn't injured at all. Longao knew very well that Yun Shi and the others were deliberately protecting him. If he wasn't with Yun Qian, he believed that Yun Shi and the others wouldn't care about his life and death. However, Longao was still very touched. If it were someone else, even if he was with Yun Qian, he might not be able to do this, especially in a life-and-death situation. Longao didn't hesitate at all. At this time, when the others couldn't continue to attack, only he could stop the Thunderfire Lion from self-destructing. Without hesitation, he attacked with his primordial spirit, the fourth of the 9 chaos axes, Spirit Annihilation. The real power of this move was combined with the primordial chaos axe. This was also Longao's first real attack. Spirit Annihilation combined with the primordial chaos axe. The Thunderfire Lion, who was about to self-destruct, suddenly roared angrily. Its whole body was constantly trembling, and its primordial spirit was almost annihilated. This was something he never expected. If it was the previous Thunderfire Lion, it was basically impossible for Longao to use Spirit Annihilation to successfully destroy the Thunderfire Lion, but now it was completely possible. The reason was very simple. Because of the previous battle, the Thunderfire Lion was injured, and its primordial spirit was also seriously injured. This time, Longao could successfully annihilate the Spirit Annihilation. Seeing that Longao actually succeeded in stopping the Thunderfire Lion from self-destructing and seriously injuring the primordial spirit of the Thunderfire Lion, Yun Shi and the others were completely shocked. If Longao was a lower god, then this was possible, but Longao wasn't even half a lower god. Was this true? If they didn't see it with their own eyes, they really didn't want to believe that this was true. Longao didn't hesitate at all. After seriously injuring the Thunderfire Lion, he immediately began to attack the Thunderfire Lion frantically. Now, the Thunderfire Lion didn't have the slightest ability to resist. In just a few minutes, the Thunderfire Lion had already fallen. Until now, the Thunderfire Lion didn't expect that it would be killed by a few people it didn't put in its eyes at all. It died with its eyes wide open, but everything was over. Even if the Thunderfire Lion wanted to regret, it was too late. Longao, take out the beast core and take its blood essence. Chapter 2846. Take its blood essence. Longao was also very clear on what the Thunder Fire Lion's blood essence meant to the land of inheritance. Without the key, they could not enter the land of inheritance. As long as they could get the blood essence of the Thunder and Fire Lion, the other families could get it too. The Yun family could also enter the land of inheritance. It was strange. There was only one drop of blood essence in the huge body of the Thunder and Fire Lion. Yes, it was one drop. Not only Longao, but even Yun Shi and the rest were curious. They did not expect the Thunder and Fire Lion to only have one drop of blood essence. After a few hours of rest, Yun Shi and the rest were mostly healed. Ha ha, I did not expect the Yun family to find a drop of blood essence so quickly. Congratulations. Hearing the voice, Yun Shi's face changed. It was none other than Yi Han, Ling Ruoyi, and the rest. The previous battle was too terrifying. If Yi Han and the rest were not looking for spiritual beasts, they would have come long ago. Emperor Yun smiled and said, "We are lucky to have met the severely injured Thunder and Fire Lion. That is why we can get its blood essence." Longao did not give the Thunder and Fire Lion's beast elixir to Yun Shi. Instead, he kept it for himself. According to Yun Shi, the alchemists in the Chaos Realm, no matter what level they were at, had to use beast elixirs as a primer if they wanted to refine high-level elixirs.
It could be said that
There was a huge difference between a level 1 pill that was concocted with a beast pill as a primer and a level 1 pill that was not concocted with a beast pill as a primer. The spiritual beasts in the Chaos Realm were the key to refining elixirs. How could Longao give up such a benefit? As for the blood essence, Longao was only keeping it temporarily. Yun Shi, everyone has a share. Shouldn't you take out this drop of blood essence? Both Yi Han and Ling Ruoyi realized that there was only one drop of blood essence in the Thunder and Fire Lion. If they could get this drop of blood essence, they would definitely be able to enter the land of inheritance. If necessary, they would not hesitate to snatch it. Yi Han, all 3 keys must be gathered to open the land of inheritance. I only got the blood essence of the Thunder and Fire Lion. The Yun family will not interfere with the blood essence of the other 2 spiritual beasts. What do you think? Sure. Yun Shi did not expect Yi Han to agree so quickly. Could it be that Yi Han had already obtained the blood essence of the other 2 spirit beasts? As expected, a drop of blood appeared in Ling Ruoyi and Yi Han's hands at the same time. It was the blood of the other 2 spiritual beasts. Ever since then, the blood essences of the Thunderfire Lion, Black Gold Ape, and Divine Phantom Condor had all been found. As for how the Yi family and the Ling family found them, the 2 of them did not say, and Yun Shi did not ask. This was just like how the 2 of them did not ask Yun Shi how she locked onto the Thunderfire Lion. The 3 great clans all had their own ulterior motives. Now that they had successfully found the 3 drops of blood essence, the 3 families could not wait to enter the land of legacy. Out of the tunnel, looking at the white light in front of them, Yun Shi, Ling Ruoyi, and Yi Han all took out their blood essence. The 3 drops of blood essence began to converge and completely fuse into the white light. Let's go. Everyone was overjoyed when they saw the passageway in front of them. This passageway was the true entrance to the legacy land. Each one was faster than the other. In less than a few seconds, everyone had successfully entered the spatial gate. The white light kept flashing. The land of legacy. If you want to obtain the inheritance, you have to rely on your own abilities. Let's go. Yi Han did not want to wait any longer. He did not even wait for Yun Shi and Ling Ruoyi to say anything. He immediately left with his men. As everyone knew, Yi Han liked Ling Ruoyi. However, in front of the inheritance of the Supreme Being, Yi Han would rather give up on Ling Ruoyi than give up the inheritance of the Supreme Being. Blood Demon despised Yi Han in his heart. He could not do anything right. Even if he knew that the map in his hands could help them find the inheritance, he should not have been so anxious. If others were to be suspicious, there would be more trouble for no reason. However, Yi Han's abilities were there for all to see. If he was not satisfied with anything, he knew what the consequences would be. However, Blood Demon and even Long Mia had already decided that no matter what, as long as they could find the inheritance later, they would fight for it even if it meant risking their lives. The inheritance of the Supreme Being. If they could successfully obtain the inheritance of the Supreme Being, they would have to offend the entire Yi family, let alone Yi Han. Yunxi, do you feel that something is wrong with Yi Han's? Ling Ruai was very curious. She did not know what was wrong with Yi Han. He seemed to be very anxious, as if he had already obtained the inheritance. This was not Yi Han's style. Yunxi also felt that something was wrong. She nodded and said, previously, Yi Han would rather not enter the land of legacy and wanted the original complete map. It seems that something is wrong. Could there be something wrong with the map? That's right. If I'm not wrong, there must be something wrong with the map in Yi Han's hands. It might be related to the inheritance. We'd better catch up with them as soon as possible. All right. No matter where it was, there were no eternal enemies and no eternal friends. At this moment, in order to find the inheritance, Yunxi and Ling Ruai chose to cooperate temporarily. Both parties quickly chased after Yi Han. Yi Han could not wait any longer. As long as he could obtain the inheritance of the Supreme Being, everything else was nonsense. The more he thought about it, the more excited he became. However, at this moment, Blood Demon suddenly said, "Young master, let's listen. If we find the inheritance based on the map now, it might not be yours." What do you mean? Yi Han stopped abruptly. His face was very pale. Now, he trusted Blood Demon very much. Because of this, Yi Han knew that Blood Demon would not say anything at this moment. Could there be something wrong? Young master, your expression was too serious just now. After pausing for a while, Blood Demon continued, according to my guess, both the Yun family and the Ling family will follow us. Just as Blood Demon finished speaking, Yi Han had already seen the group of people not far away. His face changed again and again. He said, "It seems that I'm too anxious. Blood Demon, what should we do now?" Pretend that nothing is wrong. Even if it's them, they can't keep following us. All right. At this moment, Ling Ruai, Yunxi, and the rest had already arrived quickly. Yi Han smiled and said, "Both of you, I've already said that if you want to obtain the inheritance, you have to rely on your own abilities and fate. Both of you have been following me. Isn't it a bit too much? Could it be that both of you have taken a liking to me?" Yi Han's face was full of confidence. It was as if both of them had taken a liking to him. Chapter 2847. Despicable. Ling Ruai scolded him. She wanted to teach Yi Han a lesson if the situation did not allow her to do so. Yi Han did not care about it. "When I get the deity king's inheritance, I will make you submit to me." Yunxi smiled and said, "Yi Han, you and I know whether you are guilty or not. Give us the original map, and we will let you go. Otherwise, we will fight you." Yunxi is right. We are already in the land of inheritance. The map is useless to you. Why don't you give it to us? Give it to us? What a joke. Yi Han sneered in his heart. He knew better than anyone how important the map was to him. The map was the key to getting the inheritance. If he gave it to us, he would not be able to get the inheritance. Then the Yi family would be in a passive position. You said it just now. We are already in the land of inheritance. The map is useless to you and me. Since it is useless, why should I give it to you? The more Yi Han acted like this, the more Yunxi and Ling Ruai thought that he was guilty. The map. There was something fishy about the map. Let's go. Before they left, Yi Han said coldly, "If you want the map, we will fight. We will not know who will survive, let alone get the inheritance." It would be a lie to say that he was not worried. If it was just one family, Yi Han wouldn't care at all because he knew very well that no one was willing to risk their lives for something meaningless, let alone in this kind of situation. But now, the situation was different. If the Yun family and the Ling family joined forces, even he would not be able to stop them. But Yi Han was betting that the two families would not join forces. Even if there was a fight, he would not give the map away. For the sake of the deity king's inheritance, he would not hesitate to risk his life. Both the Yun family and the Ling family stared at Yi Han, who turned around and left. Fight? Or not? If they were on the same side, they would definitely fight. But now, Yun Shi and Ling Ruai did not trust each other. After all, they both wanted to get the inheritance. If someone stabbed them in the back, they would not even have the chance to regret. How should they choose? Longao. What should we do now? Act alone. Don't fight for the map. Sure. Cloud Emperor and the others were curious to hear that the young mistress actually listened to Longao's suggestion. They wanted to ask, but they held back. They didn't know what was wrong with the young mistress. Why would she listen to Longao for no reason? Not to mention the others. Even Longao was a little curious. Yunshi, are you going to give up so easily? Ling Ruai was shocked when she saw that Yunshi was about to leave. Since she had guessed that Yi Han was up to something, she should chase after him. Even if they did not fight, she should follow him. However, Yunshi's actions seemed a little strange. Yunshi did not say anything else, and quickly left with everyone. Ling Ruai was completely confused. She did not know what Yi Han and Yunshi meant. Could it be that Yi Han and Yunshi had reached an agreement? That shouldn't be possible. Tell me, what's going on? Tian Dao thought for a while and said, Young mistress, according to my guess, the original map in Yi Han's hands can definitely lead to the inheritance. As for the Yun family, I believe they have some confidence too. So, our priority now is to choose a family and follow them closely. Ling Ruai nodded in agreement and said, That makes sense. Then who do you think we should choose?
Yi Han.
Tian Dao said without hesitation. Because Yi Han had the original map, he had a higher chance of finding the inheritance. Ling Ruai did not hesitate and immediately led everyone to chase after Yi Han. In the distance, Yun Shi asked while walking, Longao, what do you think? Yun Shi also did not know what was going on with her. Why did she choose to believe Longao out of the blue? Perhaps it was because of the matter with the Thunderfire Lion. She was very clear in her heart that the original map in Yi Han's hands was very likely to find the inheritance. If she chose to give up, then once Yi Han found the inheritance, she would not even have the chance to regret it. Cloud Emperor and the others also wanted to know what Longao meant by suddenly choosing to act alone. Just as you guessed, Yi Han must think that the map in his hands can lead to the inheritance. Yunshi just nodded and did not say anything. But I can say that it's basically impossible for Yi Han to find the inheritance with the map in his hands. The inheritance is not that simple. Evidence? No evidence. Just my intuition. Intuition? Was it just a simple intuition? Hearing Longao's explanation, Emperor Yun and the others felt extremely helpless. Yunshi nodded and said helplessly, I believe you. Actually, whether we can find the inheritance or not depends on fate, and not strength. The treasures will be obtained by those who are fated. If we are fated to obtain the inheritance, then the inheritance this time will definitely be ours. Treasures belong to those who are fated. Everyone knew that Yunshi was comforting herself. Even if she could not get the inheritance in the end, she would not blame herself too much. However, no one would not be tempted by the inheritance. Let's go. Let's walk around and try our luck. Maybe we can find the inheritance if we are lucky. Luck. Cloud Emperor and the others shrugged their shoulders helplessly and followed Yunshi to the southeast direction. On the other hand, Ling Ruai was following Yi Han closely. No matter what happened, Ling Ruai was sure that the map in Yi Han's hands could lead to the inheritance. Yi Han was also helpless. After all, Ling Ruai was at the peak of the lower deity realm. She was comparable to him in terms of strength and speed. He could not go on like this. Before he could get rid of Ling Ruai completely, he could not look for the inheritance. Otherwise, once he found the inheritance, he would not know if he could get it. Yi Han stopped and looked at Ling Ruai and the others who were following him. He said helplessly, Ruai, I know you like me. But let's talk about this when we go back to Qianquan City. Don't follow me now. I have something urgent to do. Hand over the original map, and we'll go our separate ways. Otherwise, even if I can't get the inheritance, you can forget about it too. We can go our separate ways. Ling Ruai was very determined. Since she could not get the inheritance, he could not get it either. Yi Han knew Ling Ruai's character too well. If that was the case, he would be in big trouble. Chapter 2848. Hand over the original map? That was just a dream. If it was something else, Yi Han would give it to the person he loved. But the original map was more important to Yi Han than his own life. Even if Ling Ruai was standing in front of him, he would still be dreaming. Only the original map could help him find the inheritance. She smiled. Yi Han stared at Ling Ruai in front of him. The more he looked at her, the more he liked her. He wanted to do her immediately. Ruai, to be honest, the map in my hand can help me find the inheritance of the deity king. What did the young lord mean? Blood Demon and the others were curious. They did not know what Yi Han was up to. Why did he tell Ling Ruai all of a sudden? Ling Ruai's eyes lit up. Indeed, it seemed that Yi Han was very confident. What is your condition? There was no free lunch in the world. Ling Ruai knew that very well. But she had decided that she would get the inheritance of the deity king no matter what the price was. The inheritance of the deity king was too important to her and her family. Great. Yi Han smiled and said, Ruai, you should know how I have treated you all these years. Ling Ruai did not say anything, because she did not know what Yi Han was trying to say. Ha ha, Ruai, my condition is simple. As long as you become my partner, give yourself to me and swear that you will never betray me. I will fulfill your wish. What do you think? Ling Ruai was not a fool. She knew what Yi Han meant. She looked gloomy. Ling Xiao was furious. Yi Han, who do you think you are? How dare you? Ling Ruai waved her hand and stopped Ling Xiao from continuing. Yi Han did not say anything. He just smiled and looked at Ling Ruai. Yi Han wanted to know what Ling Ruai would choose between the inheritance of the deity king and him. Yi Han had decided that as long as Ling Ruai agreed, he would kill her immediately. As for whether he would give her the inheritance of the deity king, that was another matter. Her expression changed again. Ling Ruai clenched her fists and said coldly, Yi Han, is what you said true? Ruai, I know what you're worried about. You're my woman, and you've made a soul-pledging oath. So what if I give it to you? Ling Ruai's attitude had changed. No matter what, the inheritance of the Divine King was too important. If he could obtain the inheritance of the Divine King, then both he and his family would have a qualitative leap. What should he do? Ruai, my patience is limited. You better hurry up. Ling Xiao and Ling Cheng were anxious. They did not know what they should do if Ling Ruai agreed. If that was the case, so what if Ling Ruai got the deity king's inheritance? By then, Ling Ruai would be Yi Han's woman. It would be equivalent to Yi Han receiving the inheritance of the divine king. What should we do? Once Ling Ruai agrees, we will kill her immediately. Since things have come to this is the only way. The two of them had no other choice. After all, they could not allow such a thing to happen. Otherwise, not only would the Ling family lose face, they would also lose the deity king's inheritance. Yi Han, if I kill you, do you think that you can still get the inheritance of the deity king? Without any fear, Yi Han's face suddenly turned cold. He said coldly, Ling Ruai, you better stop being impulsive. If you provoke me, not only will you not get the inheritance of the deity king, you will also die here. Both of them had their own plans. Because both of them knew clearly that under such circumstances, they could not act casually unless they had no other choice. Otherwise, if anything went wrong, the consequences would be unimaginable. This time, they had entered the starry sky and risked their own lives in order to get the inheritance of the deity king. Everything was for the sake of the inheritance of the deity king. Ling Ruai suppressed the anger in her heart and said coldly, with me around, I would like to see if you can get the inheritance of the deity king. Ling Ruai was very confident in her own strength. If she were to fight with a peak lower god, Yi Han might not be able to defeat her. Since Ling Ruai was unwilling, Yi Han did not continue to stay. He immediately turned around and left with his people. He would not hesitate to fight. Want to snatch my map? Don't even think about it. In a secluded place, looking at the map in his hand, Yi Han said helplessly, I have studied it countless times. There is no mark on the map that can help me find the inheritance of the deity king. Blood demon, come and take a look. Yi Han was very anxious. After all, he would not be able to rest if he could not find the inheritance of the deity king. Who knew if the other two families would be lucky enough to get the inheritance of the deity king? Let me take a look. Blood Demon told Yi Han that the original complete map could help him find the inheritance of the deity king. If he could not find it, Blood Demon was very clear about his situation. Blood Demon looked at the map in front of him carefully, and his face was very serious. After half an hour, he said, Young master, I can almost say that the map in our hands can help you to get the inheritance of the deity king. As for how to open it, I have no idea. Yi Han also knew that things could not be rushed. However, under such circumstances, it would be a lie if he said that he was not anxious. After all, there was only one inheritance of the deity king. Whoever got it first would be able to become the deity king in the future. Blood Demon, what should we do now? Yi Han did not know what to do now. The land of inheritance was boundless. Even his primordial spirit could not cover the entire land of inheritance. If they continued to search like this, it would be too difficult to find the inheritance of the deity king. Young master, other than being cautious of others, the most important thing is to think of a way to open the map. As for the Yun and Ling families, without the map, I believe that they will not be able to find the inheritance of the deity king. Nodding his head, Yi Han was very confident about this. As long as he had the map in his hands, he believed that no matter if it was the Yun or Ling family, they would not be able to get the inheritance of the deity king. Not far away, Ling Ruai did not care about anything else. No matter what happened, she would stay by Yi Han's side. Because from Ling Ruai's point of view, since Yi Han was so confident, he might be able to find the inheritance of the deity king. At that time, she would be able to benefit from it. Ling Ruai was not that stupid. If both sides were to suffer great losses, it would benefit the Yun family. Chapter 2849. Yun Shi and the rest were still searching for the inheritance. The land of inheritance is boundless. We don't even have a clue. This is really troublesome. Not just Yun Shi, even Emperor Yun and the rest were a little depressed. Longao, what do you think about this? Emperor Yun and the rest were curious. They did not know what was going on with Mississippi. Why would she ask Longao for no reason? Not only would it happen once, but it would happen again and again. Although they were curious, Emperor Yun and the rest did not say much.
Let me think about it.
Although I have some guesses, I'm not sure. Yun Shi nodded and suddenly asked, Longao, do you know my Yun family? She was curious. Longao did not know what the other party meant by asking this question. Sister Yun, if you have something to say, just say it. There was a hidden meaning in his words. Yun Shi thought for a moment and said with a smile, although my Yun family is nothing in the entire Blackstone region, in Qianquan City, we are one of the 3 major families. Longao did not say anything and just listened quietly. As for Emperor Yun and the rest, they had already vaguely guessed something. Now that you have refined the Chaos Tablet, in less than 3 years, you will definitely be able to control the Chaos power in the tablet. When you go to the Chaos Realm, who knows where you will be sent? To go alone in the Chaos Realm, forgive me for being blunt, but it is very difficult. How could Longao not know the situation in the Chaos Realm? However, he had no regrets. Even though he clearly knew that the Chaos Realm was filled with dangers, he still insisted on going to the Chaos Realm because only by establishing his own territory in the Chaos Realm could his family avoid danger when they went to the Chaos Realm in the future. Longao, although you and Qian are already together, It's still unknown whether the family will agree to it or not. Let me tell you the truth. Qian Er's talent is very high. Once Qian Er is sent back to the family, she will definitely be fully cultivated. At that time, it's not impossible for her to become a mid-god. Middle god. How could Longao not know what Yunxi meant? She was officially recruiting him. Agree or reject? Of course, Longao knew that if he refused, even if Yunxi could, he believed that after Qian Er returned to the Yun family would interfere. However, he really didn't want to join the Yun family. Looking at the expression on Longao's face, Yunxi already knew what he was thinking. He smiled. With regards to Longao, Yunxi had a very good impression of him and also had sufficient patience. If it were anyone else, Yunxi would have given up long ago. But one had to know. As long as the Yun family extended an olive branch, no matter who it was, they would be eager to join the Yun family. Even if the Yun clan was nothing in the entire Blackstone Heavenly region, it was still one of the 3 great clans in Qingquan City. Longao. Even if you join the Yun family, it won't do any harm. You can go anywhere you want, but if the Yun family is in trouble, you just have to help. What do you think? So that was the case. Since Yunxi had already said so much, Longao knew that he had no reason to refuse. Sister Yun, when I go to the Chaos Realm in the future. Before Longao could finish, Yunxi said, Longao, I just said that if it's just you alone, not to mention whether it's dangerous to enter the Chaos Realm, you don't even know where you'll be sent to. You mean you want me to leave the galaxy with you? That's right. Anyway, you've already refined the Chaos Stone tablet in your body. If nothing goes wrong, you'll definitely be able to control the Chaos Force within 3 years. And whether we can get the inheritance or not, I'll wait for you for 3 years. When the time comes, we'll leave together. Ah! Emperor Yun and the others were shocked. They knew very well what Miss meant. They never thought that Miss would value Longao so much. In order to recruit Longao, she was willing to wait for 3 years. I can't leave. If he was alone, it would be fine. But he had a family. If he left and the clairvoyant master and the others came to cause trouble, what would his family do? Of course, Yunxi knew what Longao was thinking. She smiled and said, Emperor Yun, tell Longao what's going on. He was curious. Yunxi's attitude seemed a little strange. What was going on? Emperor Yun immediately said, Longao, I wanted to tell you before, but I forgot because of the Divine King's inheritance. Not long ago, the clairvoyant master left the vast galaxy with Yi Dugu. Ah! Hearing Emperor Yun's words, Longao was completely shocked. Because whether it was the clairvoyant master or Yi Dugu, they had not broken through half a lower god. How could they enter the Chaos Realm through the Chaos Entrance? Yunxi and Emperor Yun had said before that if anyone who did not control the Chaos Force tried to force their way into the Chaos Channel, they would definitely die. How could the clairvoyant master and Yi Dugu enter the Chaos Realm? Longao, let alone you, even I did not expect that the clairvoyant master had been hiding his strength all this time. As for what his strength is, we still don't know, but he should be at least at the peak of the lower god realm. Longao understood what Emperor Yun meant. It seemed that the clairvoyant master had used a secret method to suppress his strength and stay in this galaxy. But what Longao could not figure out was why the clairvoyant master would do that. He could not figure it out, really could not figure it out. Longao, you have known the clairvoyant master for so many years. Do you know why the clairvoyant master wants to stay here? I don't know. Longao really didn't know why the divine mathematician had stayed here, and why the divine mathematician had suddenly chosen to leave. All of this was a mystery. If one wanted to know the reason, perhaps only the divine mathematician himself would be able to find out. Longao's face became more and more serious. Since leaving Redfire Town, only 2 people had made him feel a little unfathomable. One was Nangongyin, and the other was the clairvoyant master. Especially after such a thing happened. He did not know why, but he always felt that this matter was not so simple. Yunshi sighed deeply and said helplessly, I really did not expect that in this small galaxy, there would be such a person. It seems that this person is not simple. Yunshi and the others obviously did not want to continue arguing. No matter who the clairvoyant master was, it did not seem to have anything to do with them. Once they found the Divine King's inheritance, they would leave this galaxy, and the clairvoyant master and Nangong-in had already left. But Longao's heart could not let go. Why did the clairvoyant master suddenly want to leave this galaxy? Longao, let's put the clairvoyant master's matter aside for now. Once you enter the Chaos Realm, your family can dominate this galaxy. I will leave Yun He and Yun Tian behind. What do you think? Chapter 2850. Since the words had already been said to this extent, Longao did not want to continue to refuse. He nodded and agreed. Longao had thought about this. After he left, he believed that Long Ming and the rest would leave with him. With Yun He and Yun Tian guarding the family, unless a lower god came, his family would be fine. He had to go to the chaotic realm as soon as possible and fight for his own sky. Only then could his family have a better life in the chaotic realm. He was overjoyed. While everyone was resting, Emperor Yun and Yun Shi walked to the side. Emperor Yun asked curiously, Young mistress, what do you mean? Emperor Yun admired Longao's talent and strength. However, it was not enough for the Yun family. Even if young mistress wanted to rope in Longao, she might not be able to offer too much. Emperor Yun wanted to ask, was it worth it? How could Yun Shi not know what Emperor Yun meant? This person is not simple. I have high hopes for him. It was that simple. Yun Shi was the eldest daughter of the Yun family head. Whether it was talent or strength or status in the Yun family, she was superior. Since Yun Shi had decided, Longao would be able to rise to the top after joining the Yun family. He was envious. However, Emperor Yun sincerely hoped that Longao would get better and better. After all, Longao and his granddaughter would be together in the future. 2 hours later. Sister Yun, I finally found the crux of the matter. Tell me about it. Yun Shi could not wait any longer. Since entering the land of inheritance, 3 months had passed unknowingly. If this continued, who knew when it would end? Not only Yun Shi, but even Emperor Yun and the other 3 could not wait. He shrugged his shoulders helplessly. Everyone, I did not find the Supreme Being's inheritance. However, I found a very important problem. After thinking about it, if I'm not wrong, we did not enter the real land of inheritance.
Ah.
What did that mean? Yun Lu's face was solemn. He said, Longao, what do you mean? They had already collected 3 drops of spiritual beast blood essence and successfully entered the passage. Why did they not enter the land of inheritance? They had no idea what was going on. This is also my guess. It's not easy to get the Supreme Being's inheritance. Guessing. It was just a guess. However, Yun Shi and the others believed in Longao's guess. Longao, what should we do now? He thought for a moment. Longao looked around and said, Sister Yun, what kind of power does the Divine King have? Although she did not know why Longao asked such a question, Yun Shi still explained. The God King controls the power of space. The power of space. Of course, Longao knew that the spatial energy Yun Shi spoke of was not the spatial energy that the starry sky possessed. The two could not be compared at all. All of you, carefully sense the surroundings. Yun Shi and the others immediately started sensing carefully. But at that moment, Cloud Emperor suddenly stood up and looked into the distance. He said, Yi Han found the place of inheritance.
Yi Han.
Longao and the others immediately got up and rushed forward at their maximum speed. Just as Emperor Yun had guessed. Through the efforts of Blood Demon and Yi Han, the map had integrated with the power of space and truly showed the place of inheritance. Yi Han, Yun Shi, Ling Ruai, and the others looked at the map above them. They did not know what was going on because the map had already integrated with the space around it.
Next.
A white figure slowly gathered. It was the white figure that had appeared in the tunnel earlier on. He was also the owner of this place. The inheritance test has officially begun. No matter who it is, everyone will have a fair chance. I hope that someone among you can make it to the end and obtain my inheritance. Oh, right. I forgot to tell everyone my name. The white figure exuded an unparalleled fighting spirit, giving off a domineering aura that looked down on the world. My name is Xianyuan Bubi. Xianyuan Bubi? Longao had never heard of Xianyuan Bubi. However, since he was able to become a divine king, he could imagine how powerful Xianyuan Bubi was. According to Yunxi, a divine king was a powerful existence comparable to the lower heaven region's domain lord. As the white figure disappeared, Yunxi and the others were completely stunned. Their faces were as shocked as they could be. Xianyuan Bubi. So, it's the inheritance of Senior Xianyuan. Ha ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Yi Han laughed out maniacally. He was not the only one. Even Yunxi, Ling Ruai, and the others were in a state of excitement. That was the reason why Longao was curious. He did not know what was going on with these people. Sister Yun, do you guys know this Xianyuan Bubis? Everyone who came here knew about the inheritance of the Supreme Being. This was a little too different. Could this Xianyuan Bubi be famous in the chaos world? Yunxi suppressed the excitement in her heart and said softly, Longao, you have not been to the chaos world before. That's why you don't know much about it. This senior Xianyuan Bubi is an extremely famous supreme being in the chaos world. People call him the War Emperor. War Emperor? What a domineering name. No wonder everyone was so excited. So, Xianyuan Bubi was a famous person in the chaos world. How could Yunxi not know what Longao was thinking? She continued, Longao, all of us had thought that the inheritance here came from a supreme being. But, to think that it was the inheritance of Senior Xianyuan Bubi. Do you know the strength of Senior Xianyuan Bubi? Shaking his head, Longao did not know.
Hold on.
Since Xianyuan Bubi was not a supreme being, wouldn't he be a supreme being then? Yunxi had mentioned earlier on that in the 99 heavens of the chaos world, the domain masters of the 33 lower heavens were all supreme beings. Only the domain masters of the 33 middle heavens were the so-called supreme beings. If that were the case, Longao knew better than anyone else what the inheritance of Xianyuan Bubi meant. That was why everyone was so excited. The inheritance of a supreme being was incomparable to the inheritance of a supreme being. If one could obtain the inheritance of a supreme being and become a supreme being in the end, he would be able to do whatever he wanted in the 33 middle heavens, not to mention the 33 lower heavens. Not to mention the others. Even Longao himself wanted to obtain the inheritance of Xianyuan Bubi. Whether it was Yi Han or Ling Ruai, both of them were staring at the map in front of them. In order to obtain the inheritance of the Divine Emperor, it was worth it even if they were to die. The inheritance test has begun. A voice came from nowhere. Before everyone could react, the surrounding environment had changed rapidly. The map that was still there had completely disappeared. However, everyone knew that the real inheritance test had begun. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.